Welcome back to 1010's podcast with Michael and Adam and Robbie and Dustin, field reporter extraordinaire.
Yeah.
Has Time reached out to you at this point? Bloomberg, perhaps, based on your experience on the show in the past and your quality level of journalism?
I've not heard from Time yet, but I did see that I had some photos on the front of Drive Tribe this
Actually,
week.
to be fair, he was on the front of Drive Tribe.
That's true.
I kind of forgot
So I've
about
got that going for me.
I was really behind the ball on getting that shit posted, but it's up now.
The best thing about that is Ian texted me.
Yeah.
He said, I'm pretty sure you stole that spot from me, asshole.
Deal with it.
Of course, he's probably on there every day, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, he posts on there quite a bit.
Ian's deal.
They pay us like $20 a month to post bullshit on there.
Just regurgitate the stuff we already posted elsewhere.
All I do is post the link to our YouTube video. And they pay us for the views, so why not?
Yeah, that's a win. It's more money we're getting anywhere else.
They take my post and their admins will share it to like 10 different tribes.
Huh.
And it'll get a shitload of views, and then they pay me for it. Sure.
Thanks for doing my job.
That's how the internet's supposed to work.
It's awesome.
That's why we did this in the first place. We'll just post it, and then everyone will post it, and then we'll get in money. That's podcasting, right?
$20.
$20.
Quitting my job.
I think when we originally talked about it, it was like $20,000. So we're down a little bit from where we originally said that we were going to get.
We're fine.
We said something about 200,000 likes. I don't know what
people
it was.
say it's a train roll. You just got to build momentum.
We'll be fine.
To be
It's a slow build.
Yeah,
it is a slow build. So anyway, Dustin is here again to talk about many things. You've had some exciting events in the last month or so, 2 months.
He's
to
arguably
close out
more
the season
famous than we are.
There's no arguing about it.
Oh yeah, that's
He's been on multiple podcasts.
Optima's Facebook page, a
True.
TV show.
A TV show?
Wait, what was the TV show?
Doesn't Optima have a TV show?
Yes, so the Optima series airs on MAV TV, and then it's also on the Lucas Oil Racing app. They cover each of the 7 different events through the season, and then the Invitational at the end of the year. So
I'm not on TV, so
yep.
Just saying.
We were able to get a pretty good amount of coverage with it this year, so it's been a lot of fun.
It's funny how that works when you're winning your class.
Yeah, that's.
And you guys are kind of the
hurt.
underdog, like father-son story, racing against all these like shop teams, which is cool.
Yeah, so the thing that they've kind of latched onto with it is the fact that we built the car ourselves, and it's been we got it in 2005 and tore it all the way apart and have drag raced it and done a bunch of other stuff, and then the last since 2014 have been doing the Optima events, and it's a whole different deal whenever it's just the two of us in a shop out in the country. I'm not we've got a lift and a 3-bay shop and everything. I'm not saying that we're like building it under a shade tree or anything, but the fact that we've kind of engineered the thing from the ground up and just kind of plugged away at it over the years and gotten it to where it's on par with some of these really high dollar builds is just something we didn't ever really imagine that we'd be able to do. So,
and it's a 79 Camaro?
Yeah, it's 79.
Yep.
It's got a
same
421 small block in it.
Nice.
With a carburetor on the top.
Not as nice.
That's the same car you did drag week with, isn't it?
Yes, so we did drag week in 2009. It's the first year we had it on the road.
Still a bucket list item.
Yes, that is. Every year, whenever it comes up, I still want to go back.
You're doing quite the
doing
wheel
wheelies
stand there.
And shit. How fast was that car?
So at the point it was doing the really good wheelies, that was a 377 small block that we were leaving at like 6,000 RPM and just sidestepping the clutch with a 10.5-inch slick. So it was 11 O's, 11 teens all week, and then it gave us one 1099 at the end of the week, and then never gave us another 10 in that combination.
Did the motor blow up shortly after? Because that's usually how that goes.
So that one actually that engine lasted from 2009 up until 2016.
Damn.
We did freshen ups over the winter, check the bearings and just make sure everything was good. And what ended up doing it in was a broken rod bolt. we were in 2016. We were getting ready to take it to Austin to run at Circuit of the Americas, the second year that we were running in the Optima series, and doing a track day that summer, like June. We were going to Austin in August. Blew up the motor on the back straight at a local track here, and got to do this mad thrash to put together the motor that's in it. That's still in it now.
See, that's why I want to build a mad small block.
Right.
Because I think I want to teach these drift nerds something. Like,
Look here,
you need
kids.
SR20 to 1J. Watch this, bitch. Like $3,000, just throw that in there.
This
It's
block
done.
was built in 1972.
Y'all heard of cast iron before? Wait, are SRs cast motors?
Yeah.
Are they
that's-
aluminum?
Yeah, cast aluminum, I think.
Cast aluminum, not cast iron?
No.
The head still aluminum, but the block I think is iron.
So is it an iron
Yeah, so
block?
Or
ours is an iron block. It's actually an aftermarket block. There's really nothing
I don't remember.
Chevy about it left on the current one. The 377 that we had in it originally was a stock block, but
377 is
This
a
one's
cool motor. So it's a 400 block with a 350 crank, right?
yes, yeah.
Instead of the other way. Most people do a 350 block, bored out, usually because they tore up the original block, and then they'll put a 400 crank in it, and that's how you get a 383 stroker. Air quotes.
Yeah, so we built that 377 to just turn crazy RPM, and it was built really specifically as a drag racing motor. And then whenever we get to started autocrossing, it like all coming out of slower corners, it was kind of like it wasn't really happy until it was turning like 4,500 or 5,000 RPM. So it gained a reputation pretty quickly because we still had like drag race gears in it and everything else, just screaming around with like this 105 decibel exhaust on it. And we were those guys for a little bit at the autocross course.
oh, but it sounded glorious though. For some reason, those old small blocks when they're turning really crazy RPMs sound so cool.
Yeah, it gets from like 6,000 on, it just gains another level. It's especially with we run an X pipe on it with MagnaFlows, so it gives it a whole different sound even from what a normal small block is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think 6,000 RPM is where VTEC kicks in on those small blocks. So that's probably, probably why it felt power difference.
Careful.
I'm out for blood today, I think.
Apparently.
We had a week off. He's got all kinds of shit talking.
Yeah,
to
I
do.
got
got a list.
People have been talking shit on the group. I got to get some people back where they can't get me. You know? Go start your own podcast and come after me, nerd.
We can check off the Honda boys on
Yeah,
the hate checklist.
I got SR20
right now.
in.
Down.
Yeah.
No, that's
Subarus in my sights. I will get them later. So how did you go from 2016? Sounds like this was still a drag car. So how'd you go from that to you went to autocross at that point, right? So you didn't enter the Optima Challenge at that point. It was just autocross.
Yes, so it was actually like the summer of 2014 we started the transition, and that basically consisted of like changing the front springs out and just putting at first 285 tires on it, and then moved up to 315s. So 2015 we started really getting more serious about the autocross. Did our first Optima event then at Texas Motor Speedway, and actually podiumed in the vintage class there, and that was like. That was like that was like your drug dealer telling you that the first hit is free, you know, like
And
stood
so
up on
now
the,
we're doing this.
yeah. So stood up on the podium with the guys from Ride Tech that
Oh yeah.
were running the 48-hour Corvette and the 48-hour Camaro, and it was like, this is otherworldly cool, and we have to do more of it. And it kind of spiraled from there. So each off season since then, we've kind of like going into 2016, we're going to run at Coda, so we was like, okay, this $130 Summit fuel cell and these cheapy racing seats we have in here have got to go. Like, we've got to get some serious safety gear in here if we're going to run at a Formula One track. So we got a fuel safe cell and some good Cobra seats, and then the off season between 16 and 17 made some suspension changes, nothing really drastic, and then over the last year we blew the whole front end off of the car and completely redid the front suspension. Went with a custom valve set of Penske shocks and really improved a lot of the geometry, and just kind of like last off season was the one where we just lost our minds and just kind of went double throw down at it and said, you know, what are the big things we can tackle in a 90-day period that will give us the most return, and it paid off this year. So
What's the rear suspension setup on that car?
So it is, and this to explain this, we have to go back to 2005 whenever we got the car. The like Detroit Speed and all the bolt-on stuff was just really starting to come out, and it was also really expensive, like as it still is. And I actually got an issue of Hot Rod magazine that had a '69 Camaro in it that they were running in Formula Drift at the time, to tell you how far Formula D has come since then too. And it had a truck arm set up under it, like what is under like a NASCAR stock car. So it's literally just two trailing arms that run up to a point. It's about a foot wide in the center of the car. And it's the same thing that you find under a 60 to 66 Chevy truck. And they run it in NASCAR. They were running it under this Formula D car. We knew a lot of guys that were running it under trucks that were running like nitrous small blocks and going really fast. I was like, okay, so we want to go around corners and we want to drag race. This looks like it'll do both, and it has basically no adjustments. So it's either going to work or it won't, and we can't screw it up. So, and it bites really hard out of corners. It launches really hard in the speed stop in the Optima events, and has some things that we've kind of worked around with, not really being optimal for the lift points and that kind of thing, but it's worked out pretty well, and it's people, whenever you tell them what it is and they look under it, they scratch their heads and are like, how are you doing that?
I may have to ask you some more questions about that off the air. I'm just kind of curious because
I've never even heard of that.
Tony Angelo did a conversion on a car with leaf springs, and he did a 3-link. So I was thinking you probably had a 3-link.
Yeah, the 3-link's the ideal way to go, and okay. We're kind of just stubborn at this point, sticking with the truck arms. I think we could correct a lot of things that it does if we went to a 3-link. But at the same time, it's kind of cool that you look in the back seat area and it still just looks like a pretty well stocked Camaro. And with a 3-link, we're getting into cutting quite a bit of that out. And it's a silly thing is cut up as a lot of the other things are on the car. It's a silly thing to hold on to, but I just it's kind of cool that it still looks like a Camaro on the inside to a point.
It's a street car, right?
Yeah. Yeah, because I think on that 3-link setup, if I remember correctly, and it was on that CUDA, I think you have to bring that third link basically into the back seat and tie it in somewhere. And I can't remember how he tied that in to the car. I'd have to go back and watch that episode of Hot Rod Garage again when they did the fishtail CUDA. But it's like an undertaking. It's not exactly something you just, I'm just going to throw this 3-link in because there's not a bolt-in kit for it.
Yeah. And the problem on the second gen Camaros especially is there's just there's no room in front of the rear end up top. There's like the Detroit Speed Quadrolink kits have they do a 4-link on them that's triangulated, but it's a really short upper link, and they're working around the constraints of the car, and it works really well. But for something where you're going into a racing, predominantly a racing setup, there's some drawbacks to it. So
yeah,
getting it all packaged in there it was a trip with the truck arms, and it's a trip with pretty well any other setup too. But
is your subframe welded together, the two subframes?
Yeah, so we did square tubing subframe connectors on it.
Okay.
It's still the stock subframe on the front, but we've it's all the welds we've gone back over and done all the pinch welds on it. Over the winter, we cut out the factory spring pockets, went to an outboard mounted coilover. So it essentially looks like, if you've seen C-prepared cars, CCA stuff, it looks like a CP car underneath. We just don't have the 14-inch slicks hanging off of it.
I see what this is. This is Michael wanted to talk to Dustin because he's taking notes.
Yeah, I can come back and listen to this later.
I can see the gears turning. It's just like,
I didn't realize.
What do I do?
I didn't realize this before, but this is personal gain.
Yeah, definitely. Like, Dustin, do you think a 2J would fit in your Camaro?
I don't know. I don't know how long those engines are. That's the trick.
They're very long,
quite long.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you can always go rear mount with the radiator then.
That was my next question.
Just go full FD car.
Where's your radiator?
Yeah, so it's still stock location on the radiator. We basically bought like the biggest northern aluminum racing radiator we could get to fit in there and be able to run a really hot 400 block small block in 100-degree weather and be able to run track days and stuff with it.
That's fair. So let's talk about Optima. So you got involved in Optima. You won your class this year, which was a huge deal. Walk us through the progression of the series this year.
So this year we lucked into making it to the Invitational at the end of the year last year. We ran the New Orleans event early in the year. It was the only one we signed up for, and we were fast. Got hit pretty hard in the design and engineering, the judged part of it. And for people that aren't familiar with it, there's 5 segments in the weekend. It's a 2-day event. There's 3 timed events: autocross, speed stop, which is like an acceleration and braking, kind of a mini autocross, and then the road course, like time trial. And then there's also a road rally where you go out and prove that the car is a street car. Just go out to a checkpoint and they check you off. You get 100 points for that. And then the design and engineering, where they judge how well the car is built, how much of a street car it is, basically. And so we lucked into qualifying for Vegas last year and went out there and weren't super happy with our performance. So came back at it this year with kind of a focus on making it back to Vegas and kind of riding that and having the performance out there that we knew we were capable of. So in doing that, we signed up for 3 events. It was like, so if nothing else, if we can't win our way in, like the winners in each class get an invite, and then they also at the end of the year will take like the top points getters. Like they have a field size that they won in Las Vegas, and they take the top people that didn't qualify that are higher up in the points standings for the season. They get invites as well. So signed up for 3 events. Like if we do decent at all those, we'll at least get in on points, and then we can make it back out there. And so New Orleans in like April, we got there. There's another guy from Texas named Chris Ramey that has a C4 Corvette with a stupid high horsepower LS motor in it that we ended up behind him at the end of the weekend by 2 points, and just was kicking myself all the way back, like looking at where we, just a 1/10 of a second here, a 1/10 of a second there, we could have made up that 2 points and gotten our invite, and thinking, oh man, like it's an uphill battle now to make it back to Vegas. Went from there to NCM and Bowling Green, and each one of these events is crazy. Like you get there and you're looking around at the field of cars that you're running against, and it's people you've seen on the show. It's a pretty tight knit community. Looking around at these guys, and every time we get to the event, still I look around and go, can we, like, are we on this level? Like, can we hang with these guys? And had the same thing happen in NCM, and ended up. Let me see.
Car looks good in these photos that you sent to Robbie. We're taking a look if you're on YouTube.
Yeah.
Doing a little autocross section here.
Yeah, like the mountains in the background. And yeah, this is a perfect background for a computer.
That's Vegas, isn't it?
I would think so, yeah.
Yeah, I think the majority of the ones I sent. Sorry, it was such a crazy year. I had to confirm. Yeah, so we ended up winning the class in Bowling Green. That one was a blur. We were in the full grand course there. That track is insane. It's like 50 something corners. It feels like whenever you're on it. Didn't get any, like, it's not in simulators or anything else. So it was just chasing my tail the whole day on Sunday, trying to get on top of the track. But we ended up getting the event win there after, like, just narrowly by a few points. Then went to Barber Motorsports Park, and coming into Barber, I was like, I'm not gonna drive around on Sunday and learn the track again, like Barber's and iRacing and a couple of others. So built a sim rig, like showed up at Barber. We had a terrible day on Saturday in the autocross, and then got out on Sunday, and it was like the track was exactly like what it was in iRacing. I was like, okay, this is gonna be cool. And then, so that one was the first time that there was really the full field there. That there's a guy named Larry Wu that is a perennial powerhouse in the class that spent a good portion of the year getting his car put back together after some stuff at the end of the year last year. And we ended up getting the win there. And it was like, okay, we're where we hoped to be. We're beyond where we hoped to be, honestly, and that set us up for being able to compete for the season points. So we added Road America at the end of the year, and I think whenever I was on after Formula D, that was right leading up to Road America.
Yeah,
and went up there, and I think we ended up third behind Kyle Tucker that owns Detroit Speed Engineering, and Larry that I mentioned before, and just running with those guys that weekend and just like kind of being on the same level as them was surreal. It's still surreal, like thinking about it.
we've seen most of those cars because a lot of those guys do the good guys stuff too, and so like we've seen the Detroit Speed Car and like Mike DeSold's Camaro, which is he in the same class as you?
So Mike, he could technically, I think, add a little bit to the car and run in the vintage class, but he runs in the GTL, so he runs in the lightweight class.
Okay, but like we've seen a lot of those cars, the level of engineering and professional level of build quality that those cars, it's mind-boggling.
Yeah, the money poured into those things is just unreal.
And I mean, it's so cool that just a random guy is able to keep up with the dude that owns Detroit Speed. You know?
Yeah,
and beat him.
That will never. So the first event that we ran in 2015, Kyle was there with the second gen that they have, and we talked to him, and he was super cool and like shared way more info about the setup. Like we talked to him whenever he was getting the car changed over for the road course, and just a super cool guy. So that's what makes it cool. Is it's there's definitely all these different levels of builds that are out there and different levels of people that are competing in it. But it's everybody's just super cool, and it's competitive, but it's laid back. And Jimmy Day that runs the series in the drivers meeting every event, he says, we're out here to compete. We're out here to get the best out of our cars and the best out of ourselves. But if you're out here and you're not going to have a good time because you don't walk away with a trophy, like you need to go find another place to play.
That's a pretty open rule book, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not so.
It's like not quite CAM, but
yeah, it's not quite CAM, but for the vintage class, it's 3,200 pounds. It's any motor combination, any suspension combination, 200 tread wear tire, but and so that kind of limits you, as to that's the kind of the what levels the playing field. You can build something that makes 1,200 horsepower, but you've still got to put it through a 335 whenever you go to the track. So,
right, that's how more things should be.
It simplifies things, no doubt, for everybody.
Dustin's proof that just because you have an open rule book doesn't mean that the grassroots guys can't compete.
True. Yeah. That's a good point.
It's not always that, obviously money is good.
It's not great to hurt your chances.
No, it's certainly not going to hurt your chances, but it's not 100% necessary.
No. Or having a shop-sponsored car or whatever.
Right.
Investing in the car over the winter definitely didn't hurt our chances.
Right. Yes. Well,
you guys made some big improvements. And the stuff that you guys did is not something that Joe Schmo, no experience, first, second year racing, even
you're not going to dive into putting custom rear suspension off of a truck onto your Camaro for your first modification.
You got those guys that are just naturally super talented, but they don't know how to build.
Right.
They're at a disadvantage there, or don't have somebody that can help them with the build process. So it takes the right person, the right combination of people, the right team. Did your dad do a lot of drag racing before you guys started racing this Camaro?
So he drag raced whenever from like 1980 up until like 91. Had a big block Chevelle, and then had a rear engine dragster, and then had another rear engine dragster that ended up wrecking. So I grew up at the drag strip, and we own a parts store and machine shop. So I grew up putting parts on the shelf there, and walking around blocks and heads sitting on the floor. So didn't really have any choice but to end up involved in this in some way.
That's cool.
Yeah, but that experience is really important for a small team like that, to be able to draw on that when it comes to building cars, even if it's just like welding a bracket on something. Sometimes we we don't think about or we don't appreciate some of those opportunities and things that we have because we have some know-how.
I think I see that at work a lot. We'll get these younger kids who like never swung a hammer in their lives or used a wrench, and like the things that I take for granted just in using simple hand tools that I don't realize the general public doesn't understand is mind-boggling.
Yeah. Well, even stupid stuff like I think if you asked most 18-year-olds to find a stud,
they'd point at themselves.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
If you put the stud finder on your chest, it does set off.
It does go off.
You just got to get it right on the
Now, hold on a second. You're
spot.
talking about your chest or everybody's
Nah,
chest?
just his.
Just
No,
his.
I've only tested mine. So.
Yeah. I see where this is going.
He was 18 once too, apparently.
Right. We're all men. Let's be real. We
Been
do
there.
stupid shit sometimes.
All the time.
Stupid jokes in front of women. We make that face, and they go, "You're a moron." And I go, "Eh."
To say, yeah,
You can hang your own photos on the
my
wall.
wife was
then.
not impressed.
I think she was.
We get it. We're there. We laughed. It's fine.
So anyway, it's cool that you guys can kind of put that together and run a pretty impressive season in an impressive car. I think your car garners a lot of attention. I think the color helps a lot. And do you have BC Racing wheels?
Yes, so that was what I was going to say. Like one of the big changes we made over the winter was putting a set of BC forged wheels on it. I've got a friend that has a company called Race Ready Motorsport that got set up with them that got us set up with those wheels. And yeah, there's never been, the car's always been one of those like where people would talk to us and they'd be like, it's just, you walk by it 5 times and then you stop and look at it and you see details on it. And now it's like people are walking by it and they're like, who made those wheels?
When they came to Grid Life, was that 2 years ago?
Yeah.
They had some of those wheels. They're cool.
They're awesome.
I think their
Yeah.
wheels are actually really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the finish that we got on those, we saw them at SEMA, and I got to look at a lot of the wheels in person, and getting like, it was one of those like I photoshopped it, and it was like, I think this will work. I don't know, and we got them and put them on, and it was like, holy crap! It looks like a completely different car.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was a big
Just-
change when you put them on.
Just
there,
changing
definitely.
those, yeah.
So all this Optima Street Car Challenge stuff ties into SEMA too, which has allowed you the last couple of years to go to SEMA and experience that. What was that like this year?
So this was actually my 4th time at the show. I've been going for work since 2015, and then the last 2 years I was able to sneak it into the schedule where I can go and work part of the week and then get to play and actually walk the show part of the week too. And yeah, everything you can see about the show, about how big it is, about how over the top it is, about how good the cars are and how bad the cars are all at the same time. Like you can't appreciate it until you're actually there. And I mean, you can just walk forever and it's just cars and cars and cars and cars and people.
And trucks.
And trucks, yeah, and big giant trucks with 30-inch wheels and 15-inch exhaust pipes coming out of the bed.
Speaking of, did you find Kelderman? Because he's from down the road from us. You probably wouldn't recognize that name from the other 6 billion names that are there, but
Right.
next time you're there at Kelderman's, Iowa.
Yeah, I'd heard of Kelderman before. I think one of the power block shows, maybe Extreme 4x4, he put one of their setups on a truck a long time ago.
He's friends with Stacy David, maybe. I know he's for sure friends with
Probably
Rutledge.
friends with everybody.
I think he's friends with Stacy, but I know for sure he's friends with Rutledge Wood, like a close friend. Jeff, the son,
Right.
the middle generation or whatever. His dad started it.
Right.
So he's a really nice guy. He came to an autocross one day, and
They bonded over watches.
we did talk about watches.
Weird.
He also had a Breitling, I think, at the time.
I don't know.
That's what
that was
started all that,
probably
probably.
pre-Breitling for you, though, wasn't it? Because that's been a while.
That was,
That was a long time ago. That was like 6 years ago or something
Yeah.
like that.
oh, I thought it was more recent than that.
No, it was quite.
No, I
it
haven't
was even
s-
before I knew
You
him.
had a Breitling 6 years ago?
No, he did.
Oh.
Yeah.
I thought you bonded over the fact that you both had Breitlings.
No. We were just talking.
I wasn't
about
like the Porsche guy.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
No. Yeah, it was like me talking to the Porsche guy about the Porsche, not me talking to the Porsche guy about his Breitling. Does that make
Gotcha.
sense?
Right.
Well, yeah, now it does.
I was shopping with Jeff and the Porsche guy. Like,
Yes.
tell me about your Porsche, right?
And your Breitling.
And
Yeah.
your Breitling.
Fact finding.
I was
so
fact
you're
finding.
saying
There you
6
go.
years ago
Yes.
You talked to a guy about a Breitling and then found one.
Yes.
And then this year you talked to a guy about a Porsche.
Talk to
Multiple people
some guys, yes.
about Porsches.
Yes. And
Okay,
some Corvettes.
I'm just seeing how this is going
It's
to
a
play out.
pattern.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I like it.
yeah.
I like it.
He's an intelligent man. He does his research.
Did a little research. Remember,
good.
talked to the guy. He said, get a C6. Remember that whole conversation?
Yeah,
The
yeah.
Genesis
Yo.
guy?
Yeah.
Yo,
We talked
talked about Porsches with
Yo.
Grid
Oh,
Life
shit, yeah, I need
guys?
to call Yo. Supposed to go drive his Porsche.
That's right.
yeah. It's
man,
just a
it's
thing.
all good.
It's no big deal.
It's like a lifestyle. It's just
I like how you have enough projects. Plus, you want to do something to this Camaro now based on this interview.
why the opportunity's here to ask the man that's done it about the things.
I like it.
He's just capitalizing
here
on
to-
his opportunities. That's what the podcast is all about.
And that
Finding
and
how
that it
far we
has.
can get places.
Just act like we
I'm happy
belong.
to come here and spark the flame that ignites inside of a high revving small block. So
Yes.
There we go.
I think it's the right decision. It's just the RX-7's going to get it first. And the Camaro's going to get a 2J or a 1J because I just find that will annoy people. And I really want a straight 6 with a turbo on it, and I don't know what to put it in. And I'm not going to tear the drivetrain and all the shit out of the RX-7 out that I just did.
Nah, yeah.
I'm not about that life.
Right. The Genesis is just not that car. So
Genesis is not the right car for
it's
that.
certainly not going to fit in the Fiat.
That Genesis ain't sticking around.
That
anyway,
means
so.
Speaking of which, sorry, Dusty, you're gonna have to hang out.
We're
for a second.
ruining your interview. I'm
I realized
Uh-oh.
if you want to talk about if people want to get all high and mighty about the 2J and how that's great and blah 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 and all that shit, you want a straight 6 with a turbocharger on it.
Okay.
Mercedes is making one again. Go buy a Mercedes.
Oh. What are they
Isn't
putting
that
it?
weird?
What are they putting it in?
That Mercedes has decided they're
Instead
going to
of
make an
BMW?
inline 6 with a turbo on it,
Yeah,
and that's
sure.
like their AMG engine now. I don't know. I just found that to be very weird
I don't know.
It's cool.
because enthusiasts are like, "Oh, BMWs are all 4 cylinders now." Blah blah blah. Well, go buy a Mercedes. Shut up. They don't make the 2J anymore. Get over it.
but does it come with a manual and in brown and in a wagon?
I think you can get it in brown and in a wagon, but not a manual. And you can get monoblock wheels. So you just have to pay like $85,000 for it.
Oof.
It's a big chunk of change.
It's not cheap.
It's a lot of money.
It makes people on Jalopnik very angry.
So I got a question about some of the Optima stuff for you, Dustin, because I want to know how this works. The D&E portion. Every time I see people, like when I've caught a couple of the Optima shows and stuff like that, and every time I see people talking about that, they're always dreading that specific portion, and it's always like, we did well in the timed events, and we did well in this, and then we got super screwed in the D&E, and we ended up in third. Walk me through this because I want to know why people struggle with it so much. Like, what is it that's so difficult about it, and why is it such an issue?
So I think part of it, and I think part of it is the nature of people that want to drive cars fast. You know, we're kind of control freaks, and that's the one part of the weekend that's kind of out of your control.
Right.
You roll the car in, you get 2.5 minutes to explain it front to back. And
So do they ask you the questions, or do you have like a speech that you've prepared and you're going through some bullet items and you're just like pointing at it as you go, or how does that work?
Yeah, so I have a note that I keep in my phone that I have a high point for each different category. We know the categories, we know what they're going through on their judging little iPads that they use. So I have basically a 2.5 minute thing where I just hit on like one high point for each one of those different categories. And ideally I talk just enough about it to spark interest, and then they ask the questions, because you get 2.5 minutes and then you have to stop talking, but they can ask you questions. And if they get you started on a question, you can keep on explaining. You know, you can start that dialogue back and forth and talk with them and kind of further explain, you know, what's going on with your car and what makes it special. So
Gotcha.
I think the big thing of it, and like it was crazy for us this year. It was a roller coaster. Like we finished third overall in NOLA in the judging, not like third in class, but like third overall. And I couldn't, like, I still can't wrap my head around that. Like our car is not that, like it's cool for what it is, but it's not that nice. Like this is something that judges cars based on like the overall, you know, package that it is and how well it's been put together. And I mean, our car is a race car. Like it's been together for nearly 10 years. Like we've done what we can to make it not, to class it up in some different ways, but it's still a race car. And there's a lot of like full on show cars out here that are also really stupid fast.
Yeah. It's not Mike DeSold's Camaro.
Because
I've seen that car multiple times now, and it's incredible.
Yeah, there's nowhere that you can look on Mike's car and not see something that just makes you either drop your jaw because it's so crazy, or want to dig into it and figure out how they did that, why they did that, because it's a car that everything but the outside skin was built, was purpose built to do what it's doing.
I don't know if you guys know which car that is. At Good Guys, the first year we went as a group, his was it's the 68 first gen Camaro, whatever it is. 68,
you shared a picture that I shot of it, and actually he shared a picture that I shot of it.
It's the one that had the like saddle leather seats
I know that
and the airplane gauges and stuff in it. I don't know if that's still in there.
It looks like if you just took a P51 and put wheels on it, basically.
It was super cool though.
Yeah, I wouldn't even know where to look to find that picture. I know the picture we're talking about.
I can't share it with you because at this point in time, Android has decided it's the appropriate time to update my phone. Sorry, Robbie, you're on your own.
It's on our Facebook page if you went to find the oldest Good Guys.
Which would be like what?
Yeah, I mean,
700 pictures ago.
2017.
Just find the Good Guys of
Don't
that
worry about it.
album.
I'm not going to
who cares? But yeah.
Anybody that's that interested can just type Dussold Camaro, and it will definitely be the first thing that comes up in the result of 1,000 images. Like,
right.
Let's do that.
Yeah, his shop's actually like 20 minutes down the road from.
It's kind of what I figured, because you seem like you know him semi well through social media that I've seen. So I assumed he was somewhat local.
Yeah, so the first time he brought that car out was at a test and tune event we did leading up to Optima in 2015, and it had no front clip on it. It was just all like tube chassis hanging out everywhere. And I told him, like, people are going to write rules about this car. Like, you're going to be the reason that there is a no tube chassis rule. And so far it hasn't happened, but I still feel like that'll probably be something that happens someday.
I think they opened Cam up to allow tube chassis cars for this year. I
mean, he's been running it locally. I don't know that he's really, I guess he did like Cam Challenge with it down here.
Yeah.
But.
So.
Who's your buddy with the gold Trans Am? It's about the same year, 78.
That's Greg and Seth Shear. They've got it's a 78 Trans Am. They've got run a 400 Pontiac in it, and I think they're actually in the process of putting an LS in it now.
Damn it! Come on.
Yes.
No, leave the Pontiacs in the Pontiacs. Dang it, people.
Nah, LSs came in Pontiacs.
Yeah, but it's still. That's not the same.
No,
you get the Pontiac engine cover. You put that on there. Bam! Look, Pontiac.
Yeah, it's either a GTO or a Camaro or a Corvette based on the cover.
Or a G8.
Firebird.
Or a Firebird.
Fine. It's
Firebird
a
covers?
Pontiac.
It's all the same.
It's a Pontiac.
It's capitalism.
You're really triggering my father right now.
So you're saying I should get one? I'm gonna get covers for my LS, and it's gonna say Corvette on one side. It's gonna say GTO on the other. And it's just gonna piss everybody off.
I don't know that anybody would really care.
Well, fine.
His dad would care.
Yeah.
That's probably about it.
Well, I don't want to piss off his dad.
It would already be so triggered from the fact that it's in a Nissan to begin with that they just wouldn't know what to do.
I think he's good with that.
No, he's not.
I've had a long discussion with him about
why would he do that?
Why would you waste your time?
That's right. I remember.
Just buy a Camaro.
I remember this
because a Camaro doesn't
it weighs
do
800 pounds more and blah 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 blah.
Like, why would you waste your time? Just buy the car that motor came in and move on with your life.
No, it doesn't do what I want it to do.
And it's such a weird thing for him to say that, because we've pulled lots of motors in and out of lots of things in my lifetime for his vehicles.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
That's okay.
Most of the time it's been correcting a wrong, and by that I mean taking a small block Chevy out of a Firebird and putting a Pontiac back in it like it should have been. But that's not the point.
Our dads live different lifestyles. My dad told me he wants to buy a Key pickup.
I found him one.
I know, and you found him one.
Dude, I almost caused a traffic accident trying to get those.
Whoops. My dad's like multiple times more JDM than I am.
That's
I don't
good.
know what's going on.
Dude, that thing, that was like a newer Suzuki, had heat.
It was like
air,
really new.
Gets like
2001 or
25,
something.
30 miles to the gallon.
It's super. I know, that's why. Stop selling him. He's already sold.
No
Sounds
price
like the
though.
perfect
Super
vehicle.
annoying.
He just wants to like. I mean, it kind of makes sense driving around the. They don't have a farm, but like the acreage and
The compound.
I feel
compound
like
and gets. Yeah, look at it. Robbie, wouldn't that be great on your property? Just tool around, pick up trees and shit that you cut down.
I also feel
No,
like
it's
that would
not
be
enough room
great
for all
to
the
show up
stupid
to a
trees to fall
job
down.
site with. It'd be hilarious.
Fuck yeah.
That would be perfect.
Roll up to Menards with that thing, but do like a full stoppy, like 4 wheels locked up when you roll into the parking stop.
Well, yeah, you're in a hurry. You got things to do.
Yeah, obviously. You're a busy. You're a man of excellence and integrity. If you're driving around one of those,
Yeah,
people know you make a scene.
I understand. Do they sell any here, or are they all right-hand? They're all JDM right-hand drive.
I think they're all JDM right-hand
Nice.
drive.
That's even
They can't
better.
be because that Suzuki was built in 2001. That
How
clearly,
did it get here?
Exactly. I think that
What hand drive was that
I
one?
thought all the importers were
I
bringing
don't
those
remember.
I didn't even think to look.
I don't remember.
I saw. I was like,
But
yeah,
it's newer.
That's it.
I would assume it can be road legal.
Or maybe none of them are road legal.
I don't
No,
know, maybe
the
it gets-
old ones are.
Maybe it gets titled like a UTV. Like
Yeah.
a Razor.
Well, you used to be able to buy those stupid little vans. They got those imported somehow legally
How,
Red
small,
Light's got
how
like
small are
6
these
of them.
engines?
660 cc's.
with turbos.
Oh, it's a little bigger than I thought.
Grid Life's got like 3 of those.
Yeah,
little
the
key
vans.
Maybe they don't care because it's not a GTR.
Yeah, maybe they're all illegal and no one cares.
But I think you can get ones older than 25 years.
I don't
Yeah.
think a cop's gonna
Slight.
like stop you in that.
If it's got a plate on it.
Slightly lower profile than the Paul Walker graphics on the side
I think
of your
that's
GTR.
might be part of the problem. a
little
You're
bit.
just pissing the police off.
Yeah, they're
Mainly because you're two-stepping. and
I've
they're-
seen a lot of like United States plated that weren't Florida R34s this year, and I still don't understand how they're doing it.
Oh, why would they crush my car?
There were like 3 of
Not
them
legal.
at Grid Life.
I know there were.
with Illinois plates on them.
Yep.
Yeah, which is weird because they were Ontario plates. That makes sense.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I
That,
think there was
that
one
makes
with an
sense.
Ontario plate. That's perfectly acceptable.
Yeah, because
The S15s we've seen there have been
Canadian.
Canadian,
Yep.
but then you see all these R34s. I'm like, how is that here?
Yeah, you can jump through hoops to get them here, but then
It's all good till it's not good.
yeah, you can keep them for like a year.
Yeah, I think
And then you
gotta
can't
ship
drive them on the
back.
road except for a certain amount of miles. Then when you pass that, and so then like the next year, they can crush them.
Do you want to invest like 15 grand in that enterprise with the possibility that
It's like 50 grand.
no, not for
a GTR.
no,
Yes.
no,
Yes.
a 34 in Japan. In Japan,
To
no.
get one here,
Well, no, if you went and bought one in Japan and brought it here, I don't think it would be 50 grand. And the only reason I say that is because
You were wrong.
their cars depreciate like mofos out there.
yeah, but
You can get it-
they're
you can
still
get an
so
FD.
sought after.
You can get an FD for like $1,000.
No,
No, you can. I'm serious. You can.
you are messing with me right
No,
now.
no, go. There's a Mighty Car Mods, right?
I'm with you on this.
They
one,
went. They went
because
to Japan and they found an FD. It was literally like $700.
The problem is that the older the car gets, the more strict the
Yeah, to maintain them, to keep
the
them.
update policy needs to be. So like they even get to the point where like if you're not maintaining stupid shit on it, then you can't license it anymore.
Yeah,
and
now,
so they just don't. People
Yeah.
stop doing it.
34s might be way more money, but I'm just saying that you can get like JDM supercars and shit for no money. Maybe not the 34.
The thing is, like,
but
you can't
can
buy it through a
Right.
You got to get it at yeah. You got to get it like at auction in Japan.
right.
That's going to be the cheapest way to buy it. Which not everybody's going to have that opportunity or know how to import it, all that stuff. But
Right.
but you still can't do it legally.
no, but people are doing it. But I think that's what they're doing is they're going there and buying them air quotes cheap and
Yeah,
then like getting them over here and risking it. So whatever that cost is
not worth it.
to me it's not.
Just got to get hooked up with the Lone Star Drift guys.
Do they have a bunch of cars that shouldn't be here?
He
Allegedly.
brought over like a JZX 90. I don't know if that's like
No, I think that's old enough. I think.
okay.
Well, and I think if you bring a car here and you're just going to make it a race car and you're not going to plate it, like I don't think that's an issue. Maybe it is.
I think it still is.
Is it still an
Yeah,
issue?
because you can only have it for a year.
Even if you're not going to plate it in street,
I'm pretty
drive
sure.
it?
Someone was telling me that it's like 1 year because it's not showing
sucks.
display, but it's still like you can have it for the track season.
That's lame.
There's a lot of rules.
It's a bunch of
Malarkey.
Laws and rules that
Malarkey.
are just a waste of time. Like, it's not hurting anybody. So why do we have to worry about it?
Yeah.
So tell us about SEMA.
Yeah, we kind of got off there. Weird, huh?
Oh yeah, there's a guest here. So, yeah, the craziest thing over the years, I think, has just been like running into people that you see on TV shows or different web series and stuff. This year, I ran into Steve Brule, that's on Engine Masters with Freiberger and Dulcich.
Yeah.
And just running into those people and talking to them and realizing that they're just people. Like, he was super cool. I told him that he deserved a medal for putting up with those two week in and week out. He just cracked up.
Engine Masters is one of my favorites. I love that show.
That's good.
Yeah, and like I told him, like, I wouldn't think that something where you're just dynoing engines would have like a lot of like mainstream appeal. And the way they do it, and he said straight up, he was like, yeah, like the reason it's interesting and the reason like it's fun for us is because we're just curious. Like like we just sit around and have these third Corona questions of like, what happens if you just bash the crap out of a set of headers? Like, what does it do? And
Would
and
never
that kind
have
of
guessed
stuff.
the result of that one.
Right.
Never. So.
And like talked to Randy Popst for like 30 minutes this year on Friday. Running into the guys or talking to the guys with the big red Camaro that kind of started the pro touring thing last year at the Holly booth was super cool. It's just so cool that everyone from this industry is in this one place, for this 1 week a year. And this year the Hoonigan setup was probably the craziest thing I've ever seen involving cars in my life. Like no exaggeration. They had the mini donut garage or the yard like they have on the YouTube show set up, and we caught the last show on Friday, so everybody was just burning stuff down in this thing, and it was just nuts. People packed in 15 deep around the guardrails that were definitely not going to stop a car if it got out of control. And
Didn't you get screwed out of riding with Von Gittin?
Wow. He had to run that
so
up.
my boss
I just want to twist the knife. Talk about all the fun shit he gets to do.
What's that now?
I was not. He was not my favorite person as I was watching him slide around in the Von Gittin Mustang for sure.
Figures.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm the senior person here. Sorry, sucks
Boss
to
man
suck.
slides in.
Sucks to suck.
Yeah, he's also, in the time that I've been there, he's also gotten to drive a full-size monster truck and a couple of other things that were just really like, I'm not a fan of you right now.
That's awesome. I don't know what I'd do if I had that opportunity. For sure, take it.
Yeah, you take full advantage of
Absolutely,
it, of course.
but like, oof, that's a lot of responsibility.
A little bit.
Working for I work for Traxxas. We make RC cars and stuff. So working for a company that does that and has a lot of motorsports sponsorships and that kind of stuff has been advantageous in different ways.
Any other thoughts from SEMA?
I mean, kind of the same thing that I said about Formula D. Like, you just have to go and see it to fully appreciate it, both the good and the bad. Like, it's every, the nicest brand new builds. Like, one of the coolest this year was the Roadster Shop build, follow up to the Rampage Camaro that they call Road Rage. That's built like a street car with these crazy wide carbon fiber fender flares on it, and is just immaculate top to bottom. Like, standing there next to that car in person is just mind-boggling. Standing next to 50 riced out, lifted, huge pro trucks is also mind-boggling in a different way.
Didn't you say the one that you posted on your Facebook, you said the brake calipers were actually outside of the inside of the rim? That's how far out it was pushed?
Yeah, so pretty well all of them, they're using these gigantic wheel spacers on them, and yeah, I don't know how they're making the wheel hubs hold up to them, but Yeah, it's apparently they're smarter than I am, because there was a ton of them that I think it outnumbered any other type of type of car there. It has to. It's just there's just no end to it. It's completely insane.
It must just be a really profitable thing for shops to do.
That it has to, and I think
so there's so many shops.
I think it's the diesel shops that are doing all the performance stuff with the giant turbos and big exhaust on them, and you might as well sell the lift kit and the Kelderman setup and the custom machined plasma cut welded together trailing arms for it and everything else. Like
bling bling.
What's weird is, okay, so this is super popular, and obviously Kelderman's built a business around it, and lots of other people have built businesses around it. I've never seen one in the wild anywhere.
You see the lifted trucks and stuff like that all the time, though.
But not a built.
Not to that level.
I don't know that I've ever seen a Kelderman air ride truck in person
No.
that somebody has bought, and I go, oh look,
Driving down the road.
That truck
No,
says Kelderman on it. Looks like it's got bags on it. Never seen one.
I don't think I have either.
I mean, and I've been
But
other places.
he's clearly making a business out of it.
Yeah.
He's selling celebrities. Didn't Shaq or Rampage
I think
Jackson or
that's-
somebody
Rampage bought one.
Rampage.
Yeah.
That's what I'm
He's
thinking.
sold a lot of trucks to professional sports, like just
People.
across all disciplines, MMA.
Yeah.
But
Football
like
players.
you don't see, so it's weird. I mean, obviously we're in the circle of people with performance cars, so we see performance cars because we go to events.
I
with
I work
performance
with
cars.
a lot of lifted brodozer drivers and stuff like that, and none of them have any of that stuff. They
right.
just lifted their trucks with the cheapest thing they could and
Yeah.
bought some wheels and.
I mean, clearly people are buying. I'm just saying, I would like to know who is buying them.
It's like the Wisefab kid.
I was gonna say I feel
a
the same way
Wisefab.
about
Yep.
Wisefab. It's
Yep.
the Wisefab of the truck world.
So it's a conspiracy. Is that what you're saying?
I don't know. Somebody's making money on it.
they had a
Nobody's
sale.
actually paying for it.
That might be.
Yeah, maybe. I saw Wisefab had a Black Friday sale. I didn't even look at the prices. It didn't matter.
It went from 32 to 28, and you still can't afford that.
Well, I don't need them, but yeah.
You don't
It's
need.
not that you don't need it, Robbie.
87 degrees of angle.
I might, but
You might,
not
yeah.
right now.
They make road course packages too.
Do they really?
Yeah, I think they're color coded. Like all the
Oh.
drift kits, I think are blue,
That's,
Yep.
Yeah, blue seems
and
to be a thing.
there's a road racing one. I think is
No.
gold or silver or red or some shit. I don't know. They make different packages for geometry correction and shit like that.
I'm sure they
They
probably
do all the
I'm
things.
sure, I'm sure they do. Probably good I didn't look.
Yeah, Robbie had a full Wisevap kit and wouldn't have any more angle than he already does.
And then
I
he
don't need-
and
like,
then he,
what's
and then he
going
turns
on
his car
here?
into a drift car and be like, "Bro, I just spent my money on the wrong Wisefab kit. That doesn't even make any sense." Did you do that on purpose? You order the wrong
Drift
one?
Track Rally.
There you go. See, they have a rally too. That's right. I
They
knew
have
that.
39 drift options, 7
It is a
track
different
options,
color.
6 rally.
It is a
Yeah.
little different color.
They're all the
GTR's
same.
black.
Within each type, they're always the same color. So you'll be walking around and be like, "Oh, that's Wisefab. It's not blue. It's not drift."
Conspiracy.
Unless someone painted it. I guess.
I do wonder,
how they
and
got
maybe Dustin could tell us if he goes to Lone Star, which hopefully he does at some point. But I wonder if any of those guys are running it.
Or the
You know,
NBU guys.
Guys that just have a little bit more money. Maybe have a couple sponsors. Maybe they could afford to throw a Wisefab kit on.
That's what we need, sponsors.
Trust fund kids, maybe.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm not going to suggest that necessarily, but some of those Lone Star Drift kids are younger than us and have
there's-
some killer cars, and you go, oh, shit.
Living
There's
that,
some guys running some nice stuff down here.
living that dink life.
You might be living that dink life. Yeah, but they're like 22.
Oh,
You know what I mean?
that's not dink
Like they're,
life.
they're pro, they're doing the pro-am deal.
They're like 30 seconds from having that car repossessed by credit.
Maybe. Or it could be
What-
family money.
Yeah, what's
or-
that group? Chapter 11.
Yeah.
No, but
there
those
you
guys are all Genesis.
go. Yeah,
What-
that's
they
a
could be
Genesis
like
modder,
that.
But yeah, it's the thing. It's a joke, but is it?
Is it a joke? What's your credit card balance? That's possible. It's definitely possible. I saw that Tony Angelo just said that he just finally paid off some racing debt.
Yeah, that's
Think
a thing,
about
too.
that. 'Cause he had,
Whoa.
he had to pay off some racing debt so that he could buy a house. That was like, I bought the house because I paid off some racing debt. I was like, oh shit, that was a long time ago.
That was not super
And he was a
recent.
judge for a while,
Yeah.
or I think he was. Yeah, I think he was a judge, not a commentator. But for FD, and
Right.
it's just like shit, dude. Worked for Hot Rod for a while there before,
Yeah.
so it just makes you realize that pro racing
Isn't free.
works out for like a very, very, very tiny. Like Von Gittin is like the 1% of 1% of 1% that is rich,
far
you know, from
pointy end of
pro
the stick.
racing, and Papadakis. And I don't even know if Papadakis is super wealthy, but he's got a nice team. So it's crazy. It's good to be in the position that you're in, Dusty. You don't have like $300,000 wrapped up in your car.
I will make no. I'm extremely lucky to get to do what we've done. We stepped off in it a whole lot deeper than what have done in any other year this year, and probably back off a little bit next year. But it was super fun, and getting to hold up a trophy at the end of the year was pretty cool. So.
All right, I need to let you go so you can get out of here.
Well, I do appreciate it again, guys.
Yeah, no worries.
Thank you.
Glad we had you on, man.
Come back on anytime you want.
Sounds
Absolutely.
good. We'll talk hot small blocks again.
Let's do it. I'm down. You got my number. Text me. We'll talk about radiators.
Good deal.
Suspension. All right. We'll talk to you later, dude.
Thanks.
All right. Let's midway open up. Well, all the way.
So-
No, the show's all the way open.
I've got
We'll hold the show open.
I've got a thing before we start the opener. Even.
Okay.
I forgot to mention this beforehand.
Okay.
But the Formula One season is over.
Oh.
You know.
But this,
Yeah.
before we continue, though,
Okay,
this
yeah.
is not a Formula One podcast.
It's not, no.
The-
And
is that what do you feel that way?
I'm only
Robbie?
like a very casual
He's like
fan.
a
but
a
like,
sunny day.
if people were like,
if it's raining,
I'm looking for a Formula One podcast,
it's not where I would start.
so people would say 1010's podcast is great, and
10 times
then
podcast number one.
somebody would
But
say, "Wait, is that
then-
a Formula One podcast?" And they go, "Oh no, but
no.
you should still listen
10
to that to 1010's
sure.
Okay, I think we're all on the same page now. You can continue with your
Right,
story.
but so it's over, and so we've had this podcast war thing going for a while with the
Radical.
fine folks over at Radial
No,
Podcast.
radical.
I'll give them credit where credit is due. It's
Just-
fine,
just
because
I'm all about transparency and
okay. Yeah,
Is that a Formula One podcast?
it is.
Okay, all right. No, I got you. All right. Austin's gonna stab me. He's gonna find where I live and just stab me in my sleep.
The only thing I'm afraid of is that we're gonna get a package in the mail with 30 pounds of rice, but that's an inside joke that anyone who listens to their show will
Like, I'm a
understand.
ricer?
No, it's a thing.
That's fine. I will use it in my rice cooker. Wait, I
Joke's on them.
don't eat carbs. Robbie will put it in his rice cooker.
We can make homemade sushi.
Sushi. Oh, put it on that.
Yeah, that
the
would be
bet.
jokes
We could
on
have,
them.
we could have a 10 cents podcast sushi party.
Sushi night. That would definitely be jokes on them. That sounds great. That sounds lovely. Thank you for your contribution
I'm down.
to 1010 Sushi Night.
But anyway, so they the whole year we've been doing this fantasy GP thing, which is fantasy sports. Everyone knows what that is, but this is for Formula One. And lo and behold, I won. I don't even.
You didn't just win. You embarrassed the entire group. Let's do a rundown of points real quick.
Do you have it pulled up, Robbie?
Yeah,
Excellent.
first place. Adam Nilsson with
team name. More like Formula One. That's for booty.
2,902 points.
Yep.
Second place, Daniel D. 2,654 points.
So most of the time, the highest score in any individual race in the world was in like the 220 to 240 range.
Yep.
So I won by a full race at the top level score by the end of the season.
That's what I'm doing in fantasy football right now, but that's a whole nother conversation.
The first Radial podcast host, 4th place.
No,
Fifth place.
Austin got 5th with 2,516 points.
And I mean,
And then we
I don't
scroll.
want to rub it in his face and or anything but sucks to suck.
But I mean, yeah, obviously the top end of the stick, no one cared because Adam ran away with it. But the real race here was between 10th, 11th, and 12th between Dusty, who got 10th.
That's right.
Dusty,
I didn't realize he was in that league.
Yeah, he was.
Dusty got 10th place with 2,261 points. I got 11th place with 2,259 points.
Oh, damn,
to
a 2-point
2
spread.
point spread. And then Booney in 12th place with 2,254.
It's almost like actual Formula One racing, where most of the time the most interesting battles are happening in the back of the pack.
So I beat Booney by 5 points. I'm the winner. He's the loser.
So at one point, because apparently they're real butthurt, the radial guys are real butthurt about this situation.
Okay.
They suggested that they would take the top 2 scoring points of
Hosts.
or of their hosts versus the top 2 scoring hosts from us, which is only me and Robbie, because Michael chose not to participate, which is fine.
Kind of forgot.
It is what it is. But I did the math on that, and my score plus Robbie's score divided by 2 is higher than their highest score, so I didn't even do their math. Boom.
That hurts. I feel that pain.
I don't know.
I was going to call out Booney for not bringing my book back, but now that I made fun of him for beating him from Fantasy GP, I'm never going to get that book back. Oh, well.
Just buy
buy
another
a
one.
new
It's a
book. That's
permanently
It's
lost
worth- it's
in
worth
quotes
buying another
book.
one.
That's your gift for losing to me. Now I have to buy a new one.
So I want to say that it was like a real close battle, and it was a real fun of it. But I mean,
It was a nail biter. You were running away with it at the
I've been
beginning.
in first for a long.
Like
I've gotten to the
week
point
2?
where I'm comfortable here, and it's just I'm not going anywhere. At one point,
Champions.
I was like 192nd in the world, and I think I think I've finished in the top. I think I'm well inside of the top 4 or 500. I think I was in the 300s. Let me check here real quick. Sorry, this 396th global ranking.
Nice. It's hard to compete with.
Not the worst.
So I also participated in the Team Clearcoat podcast Fantasy GP and also ran away with that one. Not as badly, but I still won that one as well. So
They're not a Formula One podcast, though.
no,
so
but
we'll let that slide.
Ian is like a die-hard Formula One
is he?
fan. Yes. So, yeah. I didn't watch a single Formula One race this year. I just want everyone to know that.
Oh, damn, son. That hurts. I didn't realize that. I thought you were watching them.
No, I haven't watched any of them.
Oh,
I listened to every radio podcast episode every single week, and just to throw a final nail in the very well sealed coffin at this point. My iTunes review for their show is all the information you need to win Fantasy GP.
Ouch. It's been like the long con, the long brew, you know?
Yep.
Yep.
Podcast war.
Yeah.
Settled.
It's done for 2018, I'll tell you that
That's
much.
for sure.
You might as well not even retaliate. You guys need to regroup and find something different to do next year.
We're not getting invited back. Well, I might, but
I don't know if you can kick me out or not. I guess we're about to find out.
That's fine. We'll start our own damn Formula One fantasy
There we
thing.
go. There we go. So yeah. Anyway,
now we can do your opener,
Yeah.
partway opener, third segment of the show opener,
just open it up.
presented by Factor Fabricate. You just got to hold it open now.
Yeah, wide open.
I'm good at holding it open.
Great.
Hey-o.
Flat to the floor, wide open.
Robbie's
So-
pulling something up here.
Yeah, so I've been sitting on this one for a while, like a really long time, like over a year. I really got into the podcast break this time. Like I haven't thought about.
Oh, yeah, you legitimately took a break from this.
So like at 3:15 this afternoon, I was like, son of a bitch.
I don't have an opener.
It's Wednesday and I don't have a fucking thing.
I got nervous today. I was like, oh, God. Do I remember how to podcast?
No.
I literally had a moment where I was like, ooh.
Podcast.
Am I prepared for this show? I'm not really sure.
Yeah. So
Take 1 week off, and all of a sudden you're a completely different human being,
Well-
apparently.
I don't want to know.
people change, right?
People change very
change.
quickly, surprisingly.
So we're doing the Uber game, and basically what this is you go through a week as an Uber driver, and you try and hack it as a driver of the Uber.
But it's a game, and if you're on YouTube, Robbie's
playing it.
Yep.
attempting
And,
to do
You're
it
a
right now.
full-time Uber driver with 2 kids to support and $1,000 mortgage payment due in a week. You can earn enough, or can you earn enough to pay the bill and make more than the other players? Yes. All right. I'm going to go easy. Now I'm going to go harder.
There is a difficulty level. There's easy and hard. Apparently, Robbie is a glutton for punishment, and it shows the hard option.
It says a lot about my life.
Now what are you doing?
You can start bright and early on Monday morning. Pretty soon, getting your first ride request from a Chris. But when you arrive at the pickup point, you don't see anyone waiting for a car or waiting for a ride. What do? I'm going to call Chris instead of wait.
So that's our options: call Chris or wait. Right?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm not gonna wait for him.
I'm going to call
Chris.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I would text him like, Chris, I'm here, motherfucker.
Bro. Honk your horn,
Man,
maybe?
a man's voice answers the phone. I'll be right there, just coming down. Or coming out now. Hurry up, will you? Or take your time. Those are my options.
I think we should tell him to take his time.
Be polite.
Yeah, I mean,
He's going to take advantage of
it's
us.
Monday.
You want a
Robbie.
tip, right?
It's
Yeah.
Monday, right? We don't need. Let's
Right.
start out on a high note.
I don't feel like those are either things that I would say to Chris.
These things are going to devolve.
Okay.
Let's be real here.
You did
Yeah.
pick hard. Be polite, I guess.
Polite. Take your time. Loading. A few minutes later, a flustered man with a big backpack comes out in a nearby apartment. Question: Are you Chris? That's the only option. That's me. Sorry for being late, he says as he gets in the car. Do we drive in silence or do I strike up a conversation? I'm driving.
So you're gonna drive in silence, right?
Yeah, that's what I would do.
You can do whatever you want.
What do you guys want?
You're playing the game.
I mean,
You're Chatty Cathy's.
I mean, I'm trying to get a tip here, so
All right, so
I would strike up
I'm
a
outvoted.
conversation.
Strike up a conversation.
But
Going camping? Yeah, Chris replies.
that's not where I would have started with that.
Meeting up with a friend. Then we're driving to this amazing place in Marin. Let me tell you, 20 minutes later, you arrive at your destination and you drop him off.
Seems like it went okay.
Thanks. Sorry again for making you wait, he says as he
he
gets
was
out.
polite.
You
I
mark
think
the
we
ride as
won.
complete on your Uber app.
Boom.
That was easy. One ride.
So then, does it tell you if he made any money or?
Day 1 of 7. One ride. It doesn't even give me. It says quest progress, but it's 2 blank lines.
So
Yeah, this
maybe
might
if you
be
continue.
broken.
Continue.
I wonder if this is broken. I'm gonna be honest. I never went through this.
We can pick a Prius or a minivan. Prius.
Minivan for sure.
That's
but
too late. I
I
picked
guess we're doing
Prius.
the Prius. There's
Prius
no
is fuel
situation
efficient.
in my life where I would choose a Prius over anything else.
Said that about minivans too at one point.
Oh, yeah, let's go
Think
back. You picked
no one's ever proved that.
Oh, prepare. You got to prepare for a life of a driver so you can do it. This is good. We're getting way in here.
Just click on some stuff.
Unlimited data plan, check.
Oh, do you have to pay for
Phone
this shit?
charger, check. Paid that, $25.
Damn, Robbie spent all this money. We got a mortgage, bitch. What are you doing?
Business license, that's $91.
a business. Do you need a business?
Do you need a
license
gym
for this?
membership?
No.
Yeah,
No, what is it?
Michael needs a
Not
gym
for this
membership.
dude. Miss
We're not-
dude's broke.
Christ.
Robbie spent all
Cleaning
this money.
supplies.
Jesus Christ,
We
you
gotta
don't live
clean
your
this.
life like this, Robbie. What are you doing? You don't spend money like this.
Cleaning supplies, $10 or $20.
Yeah, you do need to.
Yeah.
Right,
you
you need the cleaning supplies.
Yeah, I'm with that.
I bought everything.
Well, now we're broke.
You bought everything, and it costs $156. You used your credit card.
Great. Now we're backwards.
So that cost us more like $250.
We're all set.
Excellent.
We're all set.
Now what do we do?
Try your luck in San Francisco or Sacramento.
Oh, Sacramento for sure. San Francisco's full of a bunch of squares.
No, San Francisco's
San Francisco's cool kids,
Yeah,
man, with the
man.
mustaches that we talked
Yeah,
about
they
a
don't have
couple
any
weeks
money.
ago.
And
it's
Bicycles.
Hipsters don't have money.
Oh shit, they got those bicycles
Sacramento.
that were selling there. Yeah, don't go to San Francisco.
I accept my quest. Drive 75 trips, make $180 extra.
Whoa, what?
Yeah,
Oh, no,
you
wait,
have until
that's
4
just
a.m.
a-
on Friday.
That's just a bonus. That's just
We're
a
not doing
bonus.
75 trips on this show. You
No.
start driving. Fares earned, $42.
We're not going to make money. Oh, is that after our expenses too, at least?
Go to San Francisco.
No.
Jesus Christ.
We're gonna do this real quick.
So,
Yeah,
only,
just
so,
burn
so
through
you
these.
worked
Still
for,
time to salvage today.
you worked for
You
4
just made
hours.
$56.
You worked for 4 hours and got $56.
San Francisco
That's
is
not
a
a
lot.
good. It's not a good return on investment.
$10
San
an hour.
Francisco is a lot busier than Sacramento. It's pretty stressful driving here. I'm gonna drive.
Too bad, dude.
Making money. $63.
Ooh. Is that
It's day 1.
so? If we made $100 now,
yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
this
But we're-
life of
we're
an
down.
Uber driver is
Day-
not
we're
very.
down.
Yeah,
Day-
because
day-
spent all that money.
Day 1, we've got $177.
But
By 5 o'clock on Monday.
but we spent 150.
That's on the credit card. That's not a problem
That's
right
future
now.
Robbie's problem.
All right, do we want pizza or burgers for supper?
Pizza,
Nah, I want burgers.
burgers. That's not
All
gonna.
right,
How much does that cost?
Sit well.
Doesn't even tell you.
Burgers are probably
It's
cheaper.
getting pretty late. You have a 2-hour drive home. 2-hour drive home. Freshen up.
Yeah, you went to
All right,
San
all right,
Francisco.
all right. Is that enough for a day? Or do I freshen up at the gym?
No, that's enough for the day.
I've already paid for my gym membership. I got
Well,
to use
then
it.
we probably
Paid
should
for a
use
whole
it.
month,
Huh?
though.
All right,
Yeah, we
I'm gonna
better
freshen
use
up
it.
at the gym.
Who freshens up at a gym?
You take a shower at the gym, feeling refreshed. You keep driving for a while longer.
He just paid for a gym membership so we could shower?
Fares earned, $30.
It's a terrible way to do
Looks
life.
like maybe that
All right,
paid off.
$207 in the first day. We drive home.
This game's not like super interactive. It just kind of tells you what you're doing.
Yeah, start day 2. Can we just extrapolate from here?
Please.
All right, $207 times 5 or 7. No, 5. We made it, but with nothing.
No. Well, the credit card balance is still there.
We're not going to go to 7 days on this, guys. Drive to San Francisco.
This is a weird game.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest
Stop
with
to
you.
fill up your tank.
Oh, God.
Yeah,
we haven't put gas in the...
Do you get a receipt?
Yes.
Wait.
What kind of question is this?
This is a business.
Drive.
Write that shit off.
Fares earned. Oh, look at that. $48 by 1 o'clock.
How much
not
was
too
the
bad.
gas though?
We're positive $255 so
It was a
far.
Prius, so it couldn't have been too bad.
Oh, we got to chase the surge. You get 3 times the fare.
Ooh.
Chase the surge. Tripling your earnings is just too tempting.
Hell yeah, it is.
But the roads are busy.
Damn it.
Well, duh.
Darn it.
Why
Search
is
time.
a surge?
Oh, $40.
God, that sucks.
Not good. We made a mistake. Oh. You had a message from a friend. A group of them were meeting up for her birthday. Nope.
No,
Screw
we're
working. We're working,
I got a
bitch.
mortgage to pay here.
I don't
lady.
have time
What
for
do you
drinks.
think? Jesus Christ.
Keep driving.
Birthday cake. Who even eats that shit?
Oh, $48 by
Birthday
8
cake is
o'clock.
delicious. All that sugar and carbohydrates.
We literally worked like 2 12-hour days and made $343.
Oof. It's not good.
All right, I'm not going all the way to 7.
No, I would
Let's
just quit at
let's
this
just
point.
call it.
Yeah, no, I'm good with
My
that.
stars are 4.95 though, so I'm doing.
That's-
I'm doing
If
We're doing
Uber,
pretty good
if
now.
Uber was smart, what they would do is that when your fare earned came up, it'd be like $8,000. So like people playing this game, like maybe I should drive Uber.
yeah, if this
I don't know if this is actually by Uber.
Oh, really?
No, you got to repair it immediately.
This is not a sales pitch for Uber for me
I don't.
right now.
I think this is just something. I don't think Uber did this.
it's not selling me on being an Uber.
Could you imagine
driver.
doing that though for a living? Being like a Lyft or
Does
Uber
anybody
driver?
do it for a living? That's my question. I
Yeah,
always thought
there's
it
a
was
guy
like a
in
second
Ames.
job.
There's a guy in Ames that like does it for a living.
Oh, I got a $10 tip. Excellent service badge. 5 stars.
About freaking time.
I always thought it was like a second job sort of thing.
Yeah, it's a side hustle. They even advertise it that way.
There's
Which
a
is
guy in
fine.
Ames that
That's
does
fine.
it full time though.
I wonder what he makes. Probably not much after expenses, all that wear and tear.
Thursday, 1 a.m.
Especially in a college town.
People puking in your
It's
car.
not ideal. The hours suck.
The hours would be really shitty, and you're dealing with drunk kids.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
And that
Bunch of
sounds
And that's
self-entitled
your best.
pricks.
Yeah, that's kind of your best case scenario. I accept the ride.
So,
Yeah.
Pick your favorite dance.
That's not
mix.
ideal. Are you done with that yet? Or are you going to see that through to
I
fruition?
think Robbie's
Well, I'm-
enjoying
I'm-
himself.
just pause it.
Do we need to like move on to
Come
the
back
news
to
and
do-
Robbie can come
yeah,
back
you
to
do,
us?
You do that tonight at home. How about that?
Hold on, I think I made it.
I think you should have chose the easy
I'm already,
option because then we could have got through this
He's
quicker.
still going.
Hold on.
How was your day, Adam? I don't know what to talk about now. Like, we're on a-
I slept most of it away
that's good.
because I got
You
to
gotta
work
work
tonight.
later tonight.
Yeah, I got to go to work right after this.
We're just all sitting here waiting, Robbie. Robbie, there's only like
I didn't.
6,000 people listening to this.
I didn't make the money.
You didn't make it.
$875.
In 7 days?
Yeah.
That is
My
not.
mortgage. You finish the quest. As you drive home, you think about your decision. You feel good about finishing the quest or feel bad about breaking your promise?
Feel like shit.
Feel like shit.
You
For
gotta-
sure.
Quest completed. 80 rides. $800.
Oofta.
$875.
80
Wait,
rides.
wait, wait. That was only day. Oh no, we're good. That was only day 4. We're way on pace.
Oh shit, we got to find something else to
We're
talk
way
about
on
while he
pace.
finishes that.
I'm not finishing this.
All right, good. We're done. You got it.
Yeah,
We're
as far as
winners.
we're concerned.
We could cut it. Well, Robbie could cut it as an Uber driver.
No, you have to work 15 hours a day. I didn't get done vacuuming my car till 1 a.m.
Yeah, that's not ideal.
Then you
I'll
got to
tell
get up bright and early and go pick up some guy for his real job.
That's how I feel about every day, though, Robbie. I mean, I don't work 15 hours a day, but
You make more than $10 an hour or
I
whatever
make-
that worked out
make
to.
a good bit more than $10.
No,
an
it's
hour,
less than $10 an hour. It's like
But I leave
$5
my
an hour.
house at. I leave my house
Oh, I
at.
got to freshen up at the gym again. Guys, this is a great game.
let's just let him keep
I
doing
leave
that.
my
We'll do
house
the
at
news.
5:45 in the morning, and I'm lucky if I can make it home by 6.
I
PM.
officially paid for the mortgage by Friday.
Yeah, but that means you got to work Saturday and Sunday so you can eat.
Feed your kids and pay off your credit card.
Sucks.
Yeah. Friday at 9 p.m. I have $1,000 and 1,025.
Barely made it.
Fuck that.
The food can't come in the car. No food. No food in the car. Get the hell out. All right, I'm done with this stupid game.
Okay. FactoryFabrication.com, Factory Fabrication on Instagram. You know Booty and crew by now.
Don't let them borrow your books. You'll never get them back.
That's that, I guess.
Jesus Christ. You know what? Thank you for doing that, because now it's not me that is pissing him off.
Did Robbie piss him off yet?
Not
Are we
yet.
good now?
I haven't pissed him off.
Thank God.
If anything, he has hurt me by.
Here we go.
Here we go. Book back.
Didn't he give you a book?
Yeah, I gave him back immediately when I finished reading them.
Oh, okay.
I had 2 that I read and gave back in the time that he's taken him to read.
He's a
and
busy
keep
man.
one.
He probably hasn't got to.
I've seen him 100 times.
He probably hasn't read it yet.
Yeah, it's read.
Probably hasn't read it yet. He's busy making memes about me.
Well, greatest meme ever. What book did you give him? What's he not reading or reading? Maybe
he read it. It's the what is it called? It's AJ Bame's book about Ford versus Ferrari. Go Like Hell.
Go Like Hell?
Go Like Hell.
Okay. Cool.
Great book.
Well, when you get that back, I'll take it maybe.
Yeah, good. I don't want to.
I still haven't read.
I
I still haven't read Rude Jude's book yet because it freaks me out. It's still sitting there.
You got a book by Rude Jude.
I want to read it too.
Oh my God, that's got to be a shit show.
Did we talk about the Rude Jude book on here?
No,
Not that we need to go
we
in great
talked. We
detail.
talked on.
I didn't know that was a
about
thing.
it.
Jude Angelini, find him on Instagram because it's one of the greatest pages. He does White People
White
Wednesday.
People
and it
Wednesday.
is
Oh my
to
God.
die for every week.
Fucking white
It's
people.
it's my highlight of Wednesdays.
Fucking white people.
But he's done like
Holy crap.
he's done a shitload of ketamine and stuff in his life and done some weird stuff, and
The book has drug stories.
it's really dark, and like him talking about like he thought he did brain damage to himself and thinking about like premeditated killing himself if he
got to that point.
fucked him up so bad with the ketamine that he didn't come back. It's like, whew, that's dark.
So,
That's
is
a
he-
dark place to be.
I just thought that this was some random dude that started an Instagram page and it took off. Is he something? Is he someone?
He's I think he's been made a celebrity by SiriusXM.
Oh, okay.
He runs a show on there. He's been on Jason Ellis a bunch of times. He's been some other places. I
gotcha.
think it's called All Out is his show. It's on Shade 45.
So he's a radio personality of some sort.
Yeah, I just think he's had a really weird life, and he's
It's part of being a radio personality, I think.
yeah. Jason Ellis has had a weird life too.
It makes you way more interesting.
Yes.
If you live a normal life, no one wants
Nobody
to hear
cares.
about it.
Nobody really cares. It's people with weird stories and stuff that do
And
well.
Sirius has got to
Sirius.
be extra weird
Oh yeah.
because they can get away with it,
Yep.
Yeah, you got that shock value.
right?
Absolutely. Shall we do the news now?
Let's do the news.
Ford bought a giant oven.
But for why?
Is
The
that
cakes.
Is that what you wrote
I mean,
on
what
here?
else do you use with ovens? Try to
Powder
bake
coating?
that new car smell out.
Okay, so let's have a vote then. Who enjoys the new car smell?
I don't know.
I'm
I don't know what that means.
I'm convinced that the new car smell in 2018 does not smell like the new car smell of 2000 or older.
Oh,
No,
I
I'm
would-
with
I
you
would,
on
I would
that.
say
So like when
absolutely.
Sure.
someone says new car scent, my mind goes to like a new car in the 90s,
or
like
that air
smell,
freshener.
or yeah, even that. But like the smell of a new car in 2018 does not smell what I would consider a new car smell.
See, I don't know if I know the smell that you're talking about, but I would say that new cars smell really plasticky.
Yes.
How do you describe the smell that you're talking about?
I don't know. It's fresher.
Is that a turnoff for you? So
I'm not
apparently,
really a huge fan
Apparently, the
of-
whole point behind this story is that in the Chinese market, that is the number one complaint about new cars is that they smell bad.
Not fuel economy, not styling.
No.
They smell bad.
And so Ford's trying to figure out how to get rid of that. And so basically what they've done is they roll the windows down and they bake the cars so that all the plastics release their toxins
their gases are
and all the glues fully set,
Yep.
release all their toxins, and then they don't smell bad, air quotes, bad anymore. That's
their solution for this.
If
yeah.
it works, I mean, yeah, it makes sense.
But they should probably be doing this to all cars because
They should do it before they even install the shit.
I've seen that study about the nasty shit that comes out of cars when they sit, like a new car, if it sits out in the sun on a really hot day, it gets 140 degrees inside of there, that air is toxic. So they probably should be doing that anyway.
regardless. It can't be healthy to breathe that.
No, I think that was, I didn't read that study. I read it, I think it was a couple years ago or whatever that it came out. It's not good. It's definitely not a good thing to be breathing. But it's just kind of one of those things we go, eh.
Yeah,
news to me. I had no
they
idea
should do
about
a
this.
study.
You didn't know about that?
no.
Yeah, new cars, all the plastics and stuff, they heat up. They release toxic chemicals into the air. And how toxic,
Yeah,
I don't.
yeah,
it's
like-
not like a cigarette, but
I'm sure it's probably not. any
Maybe-
worse
maybe
than
it is like a
breathing
cigarette, yeah.
Los Angeles air, but
Sure. It's not.
well, yeah. So is it Iowa country air versus Mexico City air?
right.
Yeah. Choice of not being in the car and breathing that and being in the car and breathing that, all things equal, you would choose the fresher
Right, but
air.
if I roll the window down and it just dissipates and I can move on with my life and they don't have to charge me for baking my car, I'm probably going to take that.
That was
option.
the point of the study, I think, was that if you leave your car outside on a hot day, usually the window's cracked.
That's fine.
That
Or
makes
let
sense.
it air out for a second before you.
Right.
Don't just go in there, slam the door shut, and turn on the air conditioner and
Take a
on
bunch of
recirc.
big deep breaths.
Yeah, shove your face right in the door panel.
Just pull it in.
Nose straight in
Just
the door
breathe it in. Until you feel a little dizzy. That's just where you need to be.
So
Yeah.
take all that with a grain of salt. It is
Never,
what it
never
is.
been a problem for me. never had a new
like,
car.
You're talking about how new cars in 2018 smell. I don't know.
I've sat in them.
I haven't been in a new
Now that
car.
you said that, I will think about it in Chicago.
Yeah,
I've
there you
never
go.
been, I haven't been in a new car since like 2006.
Yeah.
So,
But for me, like new car, if I think about new car smell, I would think like leather jacket. That's what I would want it to smell like.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
absolutely.
yeah, no, I'm good with that.
Not
I want it to smell
hot
like a
plastic.
leather-bound book.
Yes, that's exactly what I want it to smell like. Not hot plastic.
No.
Because that's what they smell like now. You're absolutely
I
right.
want saddle leather.
Yes.
That's the smell I want in my car.
Yes.
At all times.
Yes.
Even if it's not leather.
Yes.
You should just get a saddle and put it in the back of the
Absolutely.
back seat of the truck.
But not a used one because then it'll smell like horses.
Right. Yeah.
You don't want that.
Saddles aren't.
I don't know.
cheap.
You're living that lifestyle, Robbie. You got the
Like yeah,
acreage
maybe
and you got
maybe
the
it
truck.
should smell a little like horse.
You're like
it's better than stinky
You're
dogs.
like those '90s
It's true. That's
Chevy like a rock commercials. That's your life right now.
man.
I am like
Cowboy hat.
Yeah.
Who was that? That wasn't Garth Brooks.
No, dude, we talked about this before.
I know. Who
it's
was
Bob
it?
Seger.
Yes.
He sings like a rock. That was one of his songs.
Tell us how you feel about Bob Seger.
Add Bob Seger to the list of people I
Bro.
couldn't give two flying fucks
Bro,
about.
no way. I love Bob Seger. Bob Seger's great.
Ask me why I don't remember
Tells a
that.
story.
I don't give a fuck.
Tells a story in his music. I love it.
Oh my god. I do like those commercials though. And I do like those vehicles.
Yeah, it's you just need to accept that lifestyle. Just live it. Get a
see.
saddle
And a cowboy hat.
Oh, saddle with matching boots. You know they got the cowboy tribal on them.
Yeah.
Saddle matches the boots. There's a tip for
Well,
you.
yeah, and then you got to get the embroidered pockets on your pants.
But no. Well, I guess the Wranglers have the
Dude, I almost ran with this story. There was a story a couple of weeks ago where Dodge had accidentally put the cowboy tribal back seat in base model Ram pickups.
How's that happen? Don't people put those in?
I know,
Yes, humans that saw those.
They didn't know, like nothing else matched. Nobody went, "Hey, boss,
Nope,
just a quick
and it
one
was
for
just
you."
the back seat, and it was like more than one. Like a full day's production or some
Is
shit.
it like a different color?
Well, it'd be
No.
leather instead of.
No, I think
It was the same color. Just
Yeah, it was all the
wrong-
same, except that the back seat had the
tribal on it.
which they had a word for. I can't remember what it was. It was super funny though.
We should call somebody over there and be like, "Hey, it's Cowboy Tribal from
I don't
now
care
on."
what you
Like,
say.
I know you got whatever the stupid name is for it. It's Cowboy Tribal. If I worked at FCA and somebody told me that, I'd be like, "Just get in the computer and change it."
just
like, make this happen.
Just today.
You know those brochures? We gotta
I don't
make a
care.
little
I
correction.
don't care if it gets me fired. That's totally worth it.
Just run through the ones we got, but the next printer brochures, Cowboy Tribal, little box next to it, check.
Jack.
Speaking of Cowboy Tribal,
Oh god, this will be good.
this is gonna be good.
His face.
I haven't told you about it because I'm gonna do it.
It's been saving it up.
But when the pro bull riding comes to Des Moines,
Jesus
you can fill out the credentials, like for media credentials.
Yes.
I'm totally gonna do it. This podcast is taking me places.
You better get some
Sweet
goddamn
pictures.
cowboy boots if you go to that. Do you have shit
Some
kickers?
Wranglers.
No, I just got with
A
steel toes.
Stetson.
Do you have the squared steel toes that are?
No,
Boots?
I can get some.
Fuck.
I can get some though.
No, you need shit kickers. If you're doing the whole deal, you gotta get
I'll
a
get a cowboy
Stetson.
hat, the whole thing.
You gotta go full Garth Brooks. If
You
you're
can't.
gonna do it.
I'll get some tight Wranglers.
If you buy a Stetson, I'm gonna be real disappointed in your thrift savviness
I'll find them thrifty.
because
You
they're
can find a cheap
really
one.
expensive.
They are expensive. Well,
Well,
so are
all boots are good quality boots are
those
expensive.
hats, but yeah,
Oh, I meant hats too. Good quality hats are expensive.
probably there's whole stores.
I think they
dedicated
are
to it.
really
Like
expensive.
$300 hats.
There
Yeah,
was
I think
we had when I worked at ICS at the last job, we had a Western apparel store
Yep.
that we provided internet to, and I was always like not mad about it when they broke because they always had hot chicks that worked there,
That, and you know what the inside of it smells like?
like
Leather.
rich
Yes.
saddle leather. It's great.
Now imagine like a whole arena full of those girls.
No, well, yeah.
See?
I know.
So do you,
You should come with me.
Do you have a date for that?
Probably
Is it-
won't,
you just
though.
I think it's in January.
put it on a calendar.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Look that up.
The-
Is it
the-
Michael's
PBR?
like, you know what? Change
PBR
my mind.
Des Moines
Let's do
2019.
Des Moines.
I think it's January or no April.
Oh, no.
I can't remember.
I could live that lifestyle for a couple days.
I think it's
You
April.
hate
it's
horses.
April. There's
Yeah,
not any
it is.
horses. They're
It's-
bulls.
You
Yeah,
literally
it's just-
said, you literally
Robbie-
said, like, if I'm flipping through Tinder and a girl comes up and I'm like, yeah, you know, she looks pretty good. Oh, one of my interest horses. Whoop, other way. She's gone. Deuces.
You're not totally wrong. This isn't coming up for some reason.
You're-
You're not totally wrong.
There's different divisions.
No, what the hell? I think February, or no, that's Los Angeles.
Yep.
Why does this not pop? What is this Google? Oh, Bing? How the fuck did it get on Bing? No wonder I can't find this. PBR Iowa 2019.
I think it's the Unleash the Beast schedule.
Prep baseball report. God.
No, wait, it's not the Unleash the Beast.
Bull riding.
It's the Velocity Tour. I might be wrong again.
Des Moines Invitational.
There we go.
I want to be invited.
That's sounding
Closer to where
right.
April, Robbie. We got tons
April.
of
We got
time.
all the time in the world.
April 21st.
Lots of time to build a listener base in Cowboys.
Or time to collect cowboy
Your get
shit.
up. You need-
Yeah, whatever they wear. The vest. They
Six
wear
shooters?
vests. They wear vests, don't they?
No, they don't have six shooters.
You got to get it.
Why not,
You
though?
got vests. What are those stupid shirts they have?
Flannel shirts?
No, they got the long sleeve ones, but
They're
they got
flannel shirts.
like ivory buttons on them and stuff.
Yeah, they're button
no,
up, like-
no. I'm talking about the fancy dress.
But they're button up like.
You're going square dancing. You know what I mean?
Just
I work
honky
with
tonk.
I work
whatever
with
the
a
fuck it
guy
is,
that
the
goes.
thing with the-
I work with a guy like he's our
Just
age.
button-up shirts.
He does like this square dancing, line dancing thing at a bar downtown every week.
at the PBR bar downtown.
That's his. I guess that's his angle.
Beer Can Alley.
That's his angle.
Beer Can Alley.
I'm telling you,
I
dude.
think it works pretty well for him too.
Okay, so you got to get one
I
of the
think he's
pearl
quite
shirts
successful.
Yeah.
with the buttons and the
Yeah.
stupid pockets. They do. They have like fancy looking.
know they got
You're
like
gonna
the
have to
ivory.
step up your chew. Game.
Ivory. That's what it is.
You need
Ivory.
to step up your chew game.
Yeah.
Put a big dip in.
Get that dip going.
Yeah.
If you can't do the chew, you
truck-
can always probably just use like Big League bubble gum.
Nah, they can
Lay it
smell
off.
that it's all fruity and stupid.
Yeah, I don't want to be.
That's
No,
fair.
I don't want
That's
to be a
fair.
poser.
You're right.
I don't want to
Nah,
be a poser.
go all in on this.
Go for gold.
Don't want to be a poser. That's exactly. What
I don't want them to think I'm a poser.
No, you gotta try to fit in.
Or a kook or whatever the surfers call them. You know,
I don't think that's the word you
Wow.
want to use.
isn't that's what surfers call people?
That don't fit in?
Yeah.
Oh. I don't know.
You're thinking of a different word.
I
It
am.
sounds like that word.
Okay.
That's not the word I used.
I thought that's the word you
and
said.
if I said that word, I apologize. That's,
That's
not the word that I
the word
meant
you
to
said.
say.
That's not the
No.
word you said. That's
talking
the word.
about-
That's the word I heard. I was like,
Yeah,
he didn't
it
just
sounded.
Say,
It
he didn't
sounded.
just say that, did he?
It sounded really bad, and if I did say that, I'm very sorry.
I know what you mean now that the
Yes.
shock value of wait a second, that's not what he said. So, April, 10/10 goes bull riding.
Yeah, I'll be not there for that. Thank you.
Oh, dude, it'd be so much fun. You should go.
Speaking of cars,
What? Why?
This is a car show, Robbie.
Since when? We've done 150 episodes of no cars.
the Italians were caught speeding in Italy. Hold your surprised looks.
Right, but the numbers
sheer
here,
numbers are
the
insane.
numbers here are what is staggering.
So in this city of
It's like 120 people.
Yeah,
it's not very big. I think
small
it was
town
called
of 120 people.
Aquetico, I think is how you say that. In northwest Italy, 120 residents, has a major road that passes through it.
Yep.
It's like a highway,
Yes,
interstate. Not
but
interstate,
it goes through
Through the
I would
Like,
assume
it
it's
cuts
like
down-
I assume it's like a 2-lane road.
Yes.
Yes.
We will get to that.
Right.
It cuts right down the center of the
and
town
they decided to put up a speed camera because they have a problem.
with speeding.
And when you hear that, you think,
Okay.
you get a few people maybe hauling ass through the town.
Yeah,
You know,
people
maybe there's
complain about the
kids.
speed cameras. Yeah.
Maybe there's kids, and maybe it's justified. Blah blah blah. Whatever. They need people to slow down. The sheer number of people they caught in 2 weeks.
Ridiculous. So what's the number?
58,568 speeding tickets in 14 days. 58,000.
That's 4,183 tickets a day.
That's a busy road.
That's 174.3 tickets an hour. And basically 3 tickets a minute.
This is almost everybody.
That's insane.
3 tickets a minute. It's crazy.
And it's in a 30-mile-per-hour zone. Or
Somebody was
50.
caught doing
50
80 miles an
kilometers,
hour.
84, yeah.
84 miles an hour was the top speed.
So yeah, I would say that they have
Some jackass in a Ferrari.
They clearly have some sort of problem in this town.
Yep.
I think for once this might be justified.
It sounded like it was justified. There was one guy in the comment section of I want to say it was
This was Autoblog,
the
but you may have
drive. I
been
think the one on
somewhere
the drive.
Yeah.
This guy was just going off. It's a money grab, blah blah blah. If you go to Google Maps and look at the town
Yeah.
and go to the street view,
Holy shit, that's a narrow street. There's no
there's
shoulder
there's
at all.
not even a shoulder.
That's not
on-
even a 2-lane. That's a 1.5 lane
There's
road.
a building on the
Oh
shoulder.
my
Can you
God.
imagine
doing
going
85 miles an hour through that? Woof.
It's not a money grab.
On a closed circuit, I don't know that I'd feel comfortable doing 80 miles an hour.
No,
through
that door to that house is 3 feet off the white line.
That's insane.
Those cars parked on that, what I'm going to call a driveway parking lot, are basically on the street,
Yeah.
and that's how they go through the town.
Jesus.
Yeah, so they definitely had a problem.
The camera's justified, in my opinion.
For once.
Yeah.
Most of the time, I'm not for
calling-
it. But, like, you could not patrol that.
Yeah, that's the other thing. You couldn't even put a patrol car on there.
No,
Where would you put the patrol car?
And even if you did, like, the sheer numbers, it wouldn't be effective.
no, because the argument was, well, if that many people are speeding, clearly the majority is going the speed limit it should be. No, 50K is quite fast.
It's
30
bloody
miles an hour is
fast.
a lot. 20 would be a great
That's
speed limit
intense.
through there.
Yep. And then the one guy was like clearly sticking to his guns about how cameras are the worst.
Right,
And he goes,
right.
well, why don't they just put up a speed bump? Are you kidding me? You're complaining about a camera?
I'd rather have a camera than a speed bump.
100%.
Because then if you're not speeding, at least you're not being
Yeah, you're
hampered by this. That would slow traffic down and make
It'd
things
be
worse.
way worse. The camera makes sense because clearly if people cross this road just walking across it.
Couldn't pay
You
me.
couldn't even walk outside of your house without getting
I
hit
don't know
by a
if I don't know
car.
if I can zoom in. I can go forward. It's Google Street.
Yeah, you can do
What are you
whatever
looking
want,
for?
Robbie.
Look where that car's parked.
That car's
on the
the street.
He's
Wow.
a third of the way into the lane. Going 84 down that thing.
What a maniac. Yeah.
There's nothing more to say. This is totally justified.
Yeah, I'm with you.
It
on
sounds
that.
like there's people are just insane.
crazy.
Crazy Italians.
Yeah.
That must be quite prevalent there, if I had to guess.
Speeding?
Well, yeah, in that type of location too, where the space between the buildings is literally
You'd
like
have to
22
be-
feet.
Well, so I remember when I was in Germany, like what they considered roads there, that we were doing like, in my opinion, wildly uncomfortable speeds. Like, but everybody, they were just cool with it. Like it's
They-
just a matter of what you're comfortable with. You
Right.
know, like even driving around in some of these curvy mountain forested roads would probably make us uncomfortable with the speed that the locals do every day,
Right.
just because we're not used to it.
There's a road down at Lake of the Ozarks that's 55 miles an hour, but it's got a 10-mile-per-hour bend in it, which is hilarious. I mean, it's like the first time I missed the sign, and I was like standing on the brakes. Like, oh,
In the
shit.
Veloster,
Yeah, I think it was in the Veloster. I mean, I was standing on the brakes. It was awesome, though, once
you
I
know,
knew it
if
was there.
he's in the Veloster, he's in this little turbo 6-speed car. You know, he's like tossing him into
Oh,
corners.
yeah.
I was
right? He's
hammering.
Like,
I was
"Whoa."
hammering
He was
pretty
in-
hard.
he was enjoying
Shit,
it.
son.
Yeah, but I was on it.
Whoops.
Yeah, we just don't get good roads around here, so we're not used to driving
Right.
very fast.
I know
on
what you're
anything.
talking about. I did the same thing in the Maxima.
Yep, standing on. Oh shit! And it's completely blind because it's a
Yep.
hairpin.
Yeah.
So, yep, I'm sure that is the case there. Volvo isn't bringing any cars to the LA Auto Show, but they still have a booth, and they're going to put stuff in it.
They're
Best
putting art,
coffee. The best
art
coffee.
in it.
I am angry. If they do this in Chicago, I swear to God, I'm going to be fucking pissed because their booth was the best in Chicago. They had the best booth.
They're
Because of the coffee.
they have good cars too, though, Robbie.
I know they do.
They had-
they
they had-
won an award with one last year.
They had coffee.
Yeah.
I was reminded today that I was talking to the sales lady.
Yes.
You remember that whole deal in the
Oh,
picture
we
in the
remember.
business card?
We haven't forgotten.
We'll never forget.
I was literally sent this today.
Oh no.
I'll show it to Robbie.
Oh,
It's
no.
pretty funny.
I wish I could pull it up.
I know. I'm glad that you can't. I'm glad
That's
that
why
you
he's
can't
not
pull it up.
sending it to you.
Yeah, you should have sent this to me. We could put it on the Instagram later. It's got a heart around.
Pretty funny. And my
that's
expense bill
amazing.
did that today.
Yeah,
Love
I
it.
asked him a question about
picture of you
Chicago.
and
No, I
the
asked him.
chick.
I asked him a question about Chicago, and he sent me that. I was like, "Thanks, buddy."
Never forget.
That's the right response.
Never forget. Oh, so good.
But yeah, Volvo, best booth, arguably the best cars,
Yeah.
which is unfortunate that they're not. Gonna
Maybe
bring
the
a
best
car.
coffee.
By far the best coffee. Toyota brought some shit coffee. They upped the game. All that money they got. Bring some real coffee next time. Get
Right.
a barista.
Well, it's not even called the LA Auto Show anymore, isn't it? It's
Nope, it's something else.
yeah.
it's like some.
It's
It's the idea of cars, or
Oh, the experiential blah blah blah, whatever it's called.
yeah, it was somewhere in a different article.
Yeah. It's
It's not the LA.
So
Auto
their whole idea is that like they're trying to model this.
I think it's kind of a tongue-in-cheek thing that it's
No,
about the future, but it doesn't
Right.
include cars.
Well, the future doesn't include car ownership,
Right.
and so we shouldn't care what the car is because we're not going to own it anyway.
Yeah, that's kind of how I took it.
That's
We're no longer a car company; we're a collective.
that
That type of shit.
that art thing that they got going on there.
This is not a car.
So stupid.
It's bamboo, and then in block lettering out of wood, it says, "This is not a car."
Thank you. I was
I
aware
can
of
tell
that.
that. No, not a car.
I'm triggered. Just saying.
Here's an interesting question. Okay, so if you're going to commoditize the car, so that nobody owns it, when you need a car, you just get a car. You call it on an
You
app,
hail it.
blah blah blah, whatever. Then at that point, why have luxury cars?
Well, because you'll spend more money. The people who can afford the luxury ride services will spend the money on the luxury ride service.
Here is the argument that I would make, putting myself in that situation. I could see myself buying a Mercedes. I cannot see myself giving the option on an app for a fancier car, selecting the fancier car.
Why?
Because
get
I don't
into
own
this.
it.
So you're
wanna
fine
sit-
with spending the premium on the ownership experience.
Yes, because it's my car.
But you don't want the fancier, nicer ride to get brought to your.
They're all going to be nasty and disgusting.
No,
anyway.
no,
Who
no.
cares?
Somebody else has vomited in it 3 rides ago.
Regardless.
and
not
it's
the
still in
fancy
there.
one.
No, someone's still vomit.
This one smells like
Trust me,
saddle
fancy
leather.
people throw up too.
But they have a butler to clean it.
I don't know about that.
When you-
I just had this.
All right. So okay.
I don't know where Robbie's going. I'm just going to go there.
Saturday night. And you want? I mean, you're dressed up. You're looking fly. You got your fancy watch on.
Okay.
You got places to go.
Okay.
So you hail your ride.
Okay.
Then you got to go pick up your date.
Okay.
You're just gonna pick some car, any car.
To be honest, yes.
Okay, fine.
I
hold to
see
my
your
theory.
point. I see your point.
I mean,
I totally
it's a
see
first
your
date.
point.
It's a
100%.
first date.
I've
You're
just had this.
successful.
I've literally just had this
Despite
thought
what
2
good
minutes
Charlotte
ago.
says, girls don't care about cars.
That's the other thing. They don't give a shit. Okay,
But
here
they care about
here,
fancy, expensive things.
Here,
Nah.
okay, here. Here's a great example. I admit that I have an Infinity for Mercedes, which is an interesting choice of words considering it has another car manufacturer in it. I understand that. But right now, Affinity, sorry,
Affinity
not
is
Infinity.
Affinity.
Affinity. But I would not buy a regular C-Class. I would buy an AMG C-Class, even with all the premium and all that bullshit.
Right.
If somebody said, okay, you can have the Genesis, or I just did this. You can have a BMW or you can have the Genesis. It's the same price. Okay, I'm going to buy the Genesis because the BMW is a pain in the ass.
Yes.
Especially a Mercedes, it's a pain in the ass. If somebody said, okay, you can have the Genesis, or if you can afford it, you can pay a premium and get an AMG, and if I could justify the cost, I would buy the AMG. But, okay, so then put that in perspective of, I'm not driving the car anymore, I'm not having that ownership experience, I'm not experiencing it day to day. The car is a commodity. There's nothing that differentiates the fancy car from the regular car, in my opinion, other than like 3 minutes of
You're comfortable
of being slightly more comfortable. But even
I guess
if you get in a regular,
that was my point. Is
if you get in a really like just like let's just say a normal car, like if you get in a Corolla,
a commoner's car, like
a
a Corolla,
a poor person's car. if you get in a new Corolla, okay, seriously, you get in a new Corolla, which I have driven one. I drove one as a rental.
nothing wrong
That's
with
a perfectly acceptable car.
Yeah.
It's great.
It's just a car, though.
It's just a car. But that's
with
what,
cloth seats. Soaks up the vomit like a sponge.
ugh, then you sit in it. It's on your pants.
Yeah,
It's not good.
but your Mercedes has leather seats that you can
that
wipe the vomit
but it's
off.
all they've got all that perforated leather so that the fans and the shit in the seat work. So now it's just projecting the vomit smell out of it.
So what we need is somewhere in the middle.
Like a vinyl seat with no air.
Right, like a fake leather seat that can be wiped clean.
Okay, I think we've gotten sidetracked. My point is, if the car's a commodity, most people don't care.
Right.
In my opinion, that puts Volvo out of business.
Yeah.
Because I don't see.
I would think that they're struggling to maintain business to begin with.
I think right now Volvo's in a good position. They make a fantastic fucking car. It's amazing. I love all the stuff. Chicago Auto Show was great.
Problem is though, where are they?
We have a Volvo dealer.
We have
No, but I mean, how many? You're driving down the road. You see Genesis.
Yeah.
You don't see that Volvo.
Nope.
I don't disagree with that statement.
It's a good. I mean, I'm not taking anything away from that car. I'm just saying you don't see people.
Let's put it this way: you have an app. You can hire any manufacturer you want. It's priced accordingly based on the manufacturer.
Yes.
Do you, for any reason whatsoever, click on hiring the Volvo?
Not that I can think of.
I probably would roll through them
Just for the experience?
just because I can.
But what you would probably do is pick the cheapest car. That basically it'd be a graph, right? It'd be the cheapest car with the best experience. You know what I mean?
think-
Best value.
Best value. Yes, thank you. That's
I think
what
it
I was looking
depends on what I'm doing. If I'm running across the town to go grocery shopping, I'm gonna buy the cheapest, or I'm going to use the cheapest car that's available for me at that time.
for. Okay.
If I am loading up the wife and kid and going to the Omaha Zoo to meet my parents like I did this weekend, I'm probably going to pick a mid-level car because I have a longer ride. I want the little bit of extra comfort, stuff like that. But I'm certainly still not springing for,
That's for the trophy side chick. That's for the expensive one.
well, I don't have one of those because I can barely maintain the normal chick.
So let's
I
put
don't
it.
need that in my life, Rob.
Let's
a
put
lot
it
of
in
drama.
let's put
It's
it in
not worth
another
it.
perspective. Let's say the cheap car is the Corolla. So just based on the cost of the car, cheap car is the Corolla.
Yep.
Let's
Big
say
car's the Camry.
generally, no, let's not even go there. Just cheap car is the Corolla. Generally speaking, like a middle of the road car in the whole echelon of all cars that are
Spectrum.
available would be, again, let's just say the Mercedes C-Class. Mercedes C-Class is probably 4 times more to buy than the Corolla.
Yeah. But I don't
And-
think
and
it'll
way
be
more
4
to
times
expend.
more to rent.
Why wouldn't it be? It's way more expensive to maintain by
Well,
somebody.
I think if people can justify purchasing it, I think they'll still rent it. There's still enough hoity-toity West Des Moinesians out there who need fancy cars to feel fancy.
Got to rent that G-Wagon.
Yeah. You're the trophy wife. You're going to be treated as such. It's not your money anyway.
I don't disagree. I think I'm not saying that there's not a market for luxury rentals. I'm just saying, why would you choose a Volvo?
Right.
No, you
You'd
I think-
you'd have 3.
Right.
You wouldn't have a spectrum of 100 cars. You'd have 6 cars.
You're right, exactly. There'd be a consolidation of car brands because people are just going to go, why would I pick this? I don't know why.
Yeah.
It's not a form of self-expression because it's not your car.
Nope.
So it's not like, okay, well, Brad down the road, he bought a BMW and he's a dick, so I'm going to get a Volvo because Volvos are kind of cool and funky and blah, blah, blah. It's like,
Yeah,
nobody
safe.
gives a fuck.
I'm quirky and weird.
Yeah,
Ah.
you're in it for 10 minutes, and then you're at work. Nobody's probably even going to see you anyway, so you don't care. It's not a form. It's not you expressing yourself anymore. So who gives a shit? You're not going to spend a whole shitload of money on a car that drives itself that has a 600 horsepower twin turbocharged V8,
Nope.
which is a problem because those are really profitable cars for Mercedes and BMW to sell their high-line AMGs and M cars. So you're not going to be selling those cars anymore.
Nope. I still think that this is a bad move for the automotive industry to be pushing, and all of them are doing it.
Yeah. It doesn't
Not only that, but think about all the people that buy trucks and SUVs that buy them to use them for 2%
No
of the time
reason.
that wouldn't do that.
No, because
would
then
hire a
when
Corolla.
you'll hail the car when you need it, and you'll hail the more expensive truck when you need it.
Right. So then they won't sell. They'll literally sell 5% of the trucks
Ford
that they
will
sell now.
lose an insane amount of their business,
Right.
and they're pushing this.
Yeah, and I agree. There'll still be those lunatics I only hire Jeeps. Yeah, you're a moron. I understand that. But for the most part, the people that shouldn't be on,
Dude, I think brands like Jeep would be dead.
You'd think.
why would unless they could sell an individual product to people that's I'm into off-roading. Great. Here's a vehicle you can't drive on the road anymore.
Right.
And it's $20,000 or whatever. I think you'll still have that, but Like that destroys their business entirely, though, because they're based on selling overpriced
I think at that
vehicles
point,
from 60 years ago that people keep buying. That just won truck of the year or whatever it was.
I think at that point, when
SUV
you
of the
have
year.
specialty vehicles like that, they'll be sold more like kit cars, and they won't be licensed.
Yeah, and you'll have upstart companies that are like, hey, we designed this thing, it's really cool, and it's $15,000. Oh, okay, great.
Yeah,
I'll buy that.
they'll be like Polaris selling razors.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, it'll be exactly like that. So my point is, I think this is really stupid. Volvo should not be drawing
Of
more
all the
attention to
people,
this. Yeah,
extra stupid for Volvo. Stupid in general, extra stupid for Volvo.
Yes.
just sell cars and do the best you can until your Volvo disappears. How about that?
Take the buyout.
Take the buyout. Jimmy Johnson proves that NASCAR drivers are as fast as F1 drivers.
In F1 cars
In
on
F1
road courses.
on road courses. Sorry about your luck, Alonso.
Yeah. Actually, it's pretty impressive.
It was
is.
impressive.
It's very
Extremely
impressive.
2 seconds off of
0.2 of a
Alonso's
second.
pace.
In relatively short time.
In less than a day's worth of... He did some sim time,
Right.
and then had 1 day on track.
He had never been in a single-seater.
Ever.
An open wheel car, yeah. It's
Yeah.
crazy. Super awesome for him.
This was the best part is it was the V8 car, too. It wasn't
from
the
3
crap
year-
that
3
they
years ago?
race now.
Well, yeah, it's because
Or
McLaren was probably worried about it finishing.
True. It's too bad they didn't drag out one of the V10 cars. That's back when F1 was cool.
V8 era was good.
Yeah, I don't disagree.
I
I
like
just think
the
it was
V8
cool when they were just like, yeah, we're just going to put a giant V10 in this car, and
It's going to be
let's see what
30,000 RPM. It's just going to scream.
what's the worst that could
Be
happen?
really loud and obnoxious.
I just think that that's what F1 should be. I get the budget thing and blah, 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 but I kind of like that there was a period there where they just went, how big an engine can we stuff in here?
I still think that
That's good times.
my option is the best option. You have a
don't
fuel
disagree.
you have a fuel amount you're allowed to use in the race, and whatever engine you can do to make the most amount of power and still use that amount of fuel, it's all you.
Perfect.
Naturally aspirated V10, fucking turbo 2-cylinder, I don't care.
You figure it out.
It's your problem, not mine. Whatever packages. Anyway,
I don't know if there's much else to say about this.
no.
Alonso
So
drove
basically,
the-
what happened? Alonso and Jimmy Johnson swapped cars at Abu Dhabi.
Yep.
And-
No, they were in Bahrain.
Oh, they were in Bahrain.
Yep.
Okay.
The race this weekend wasn't
Right, it was in
Abu
Abu Dhabi. I guess I missed that part of it. Just kind of a promotional stunt. But Alonso went out, did some burner laps, just kind of set a pace, and I kind of wonder if he was just like
Yeah,
This is
NASCAR
easy.
guy. Like,
I don't think he was pushing it.
he's not gonna be fast. I would be interested. I didn't take the time because I just thought of this mostly, but if you could go back and find like a qualifying time for that car on that track when it
from
was
years
the
ago?
car,
Oh, that'd be a way to do it.
and see like
I didn't even
what,
think about that.
what kind of times they were putting down at the time versus now, that would be interesting.
That'd be a little bit more.
But anyway, Jimmy Johnson hops in the car and goes out there and cracks off a couple laps, 0.2 of a second slower than Alonso.
It took him a lot less time to get comfortable in that car, whereas Alonso kind of struggled with the NASCAR. I mean, he put up quick times,
Yeah.
and then so it looks like Jimmy didn't really put up any effort on his lap in the NASCAR, but they were both fast in each car.
Well, I think Alonso's certainly a capable oval driver because he was leading the 500 up until the engine failed in his Honda, and he'll be back there this year. He's already announced that.
And he just signed with
Yeah, he's going
Cadillac.
He's going endurance racing.
Yeah.
Yeah, him and Kobe Kayashi.
Yep.
It's gonna be such a
It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited about it. The 24th this year is gonna be good. I
Yep.
might actually watch a
Most of it.
portion of it. But yeah, they both went pretty quick.
Yes.
But I would say that Alonso probably has more. He's more comfortable not only in a 4-wheeled car because I'm sure he spent a lot of time on a track in a normal car,
Yeah, I think
but
so.
also he's probably more comfortable on an oval. And I would argue that it's easier to put down a fast time on an oval than it is on a road course, regardless of the situation. I'm not saying it's easier to race necessarily, but if you're out there by yourself, you're just putting down times.
Yeah.
It's pretty easy.
Well, they
Because
both.
the NASCAR I thought was on an oval. Wasn't
No,
it?
they're both at Bahrain.
Oh, they were both at Bahrain.
Yeah,
Okay, I read that
because
wrong.
it was 30. It's crazy because they were both the Formula One car is 30 seconds faster than the NASCAR.
Oh Jesus, I never got that far in
Yeah,
the
it's 'cause
article.
it was like a-
30 seconds, huh?
Yeah,
That's impressive.
Yeah, what were the times?
That's
It was
crazy.
like a 2-minute, 10-second lap compared to like a minute 40.
They were at a minute 40.
Yeah,
Damn.
so it's pretty crazy. Yeah, Alonso said that it was just the lack of aero and stuff was. You could tell he was just kind of, I don't know.
Put off by it.
Yeah,
I'm sure he's very
but yeah, I'll say it.
accustomed to high downforce.
And he
Which
just
apparently takes
just
a
got
different-
done finishing a Formula One race
Right.
weekend in Abu Dhabi.
Right.
But yeah, pretty crazy that they could just hop in a car they've never driven like that and then drive it on that type of level where you're competing or you're up there with pros.
Yeah.
And a pro,
Racing at that speed.
that discipline.
Yep. So, I think that's it about that, right?
Yeah, I don't know. It's
Just
pretty neat.
interesting. Good for Jimmy Johnson, I guess.
Heck yeah.
Talented dude.
I wonder if that's like a sign of things to come.
Jimmy Johnson gonna do some other stuff.
Got 2 year
Some
2020
IndyCar?
is 2020. He said he wasn't a big fan of the small ovals in
I
Indy.
think-
He's kind of not.
I think my personal opinion is that racing open wheel cars on ovals is idiotic.
I'm not a big fan of it. to be
Every
honest.
time that someone gets seriously injured in IndyCar, it's almost exclusively on ovals.
Yeah, even, like I've said it before. Like I think the Iowa Speedway is too small.
It
Yeah.
is so boring.
It's
And
just a tiny,
it's-
tiny.
It's too
track.
easy. It's too easy to clip another tire and send a car flying. Whereas if you bump and rub a little bit in a NASCAR with an enclosed wheel, it's not such a big deal.
Right.
And at the speeds that these cars are doing, it's not worth it.
No,
It's
I
dangerous.
would not
It's
disagree.
beyond reasonable risk. Robert Wickens, just a couple months ago, he's paralyzed.
Right.
So
You want to end on a really, really sad note?
You can do yours. I was gonna try to bring it back up, but yeah.
Oh no, I didn't. I wasn't going to add to it. I was just going to end it right there.
Oh no! I'll try to bring it back.
Oh,
from
look at you, Mr.
being
Professional.
being paralyzed. PRI, if you're gonna be there, or if you're in
Come join
Indianapolis,
us.
you can come join us for a meal.
Yeah, what are we doing? Pizza?
We're doing pizza.
we're doing pizza. Nobody suggested anything else. I specifically stated
Had
We
two-
could do,
they
we
had-
could
they
do
had
something
2
different.
weeks to
Just
suggest
if
something.
people know
we're
something
open
that's better,
for ideas.
we can do something different.
I don't want to have to like drive
Nope.
to the other side of Indianapolis.
No, we want to be able to walk because parking
yeah,
there is
that's
insanely expensive.
That's the key.
Yeah.
When we park, we don't want to leave that garage typically. So somewhere near the convention center. But yeah, check that out. The event is on the page. So like the page, definitely join the group if you're not in the group. I know there's a lot of people that listen that are not in the group, and you should join the group because it is fun and shit hits the fan in there a lot.
We get
In a
put
good
on,
way,
We
though.
get put on blast.
You get put on
A
blast.
lot.
Other people get put on blast.
People
nice.
are constantly trying to spend money I don't actually have.
I think, it's not a small group of people. It's almost 300 people now.
Yeah, almost 300.
Nobody's had like a complete meltdown yet, which is good.
Every time that drag racing gets brought up, we start to get a little
Heated.
arguey for some reason.
When it comes to legality related to
People
drag
just
racing.
get really weird about street outlaws. I don't know what
Oh yeah.
fucking Oklahomans, man.
Yeah, it's like a far like
You know who
you
I-
either
you
love
know
it
who you are.
and or you hate it, and it's
So that's about
I was
it
in the middle.
as far as people being triggered other than music. And
Everyone's triggered.
so
by
join
music.
the group for sure. It's a good time. Follow us on Instagram. But definitely if you're going to be at PRI, let's hang out.
Yeah.
There's going to be a pro drifter there,
Yeah.
a Pro 1 drifter. He's coming to hang out. Hopefully not catch any diseases during dinner.
Wasn't a disease. It
Due
was
to
a virus.
co-host.
It was a virus.
Whatever, man.
That rash has only just recently gone away.
Yeah, man, it's fine.
It's semantics as far as I'm concerned.
It's
You got a
curable.
famous person sick, dude.
It's curable.
You got a famous person sick. That's all I'm saying.
Knock it off the bucket list.
Check. 30 before 30. That was get a famous racing driver sick.
Nailed it.
Got it. Thought you were gonna miss that one, but you snuck
I got
it in
it.
there. You snuck it in there.
Yep.
Hayward seems to be pretty dedicated to coming. If you want to meet,
Yeah,
The guy
I think
at
some
SCCA these
SCCA
days?
folks are gonna be there.
Just cool.
Pretty
That's
awesome.
good. Some other people that work in the industry will be there. It'll be a good time.
as
Regardless.
always,
So come hang out. I think that's it.
That's all I got.
Let's catch you guys next week.